Hi everyone, we are the Satin Dolls and welcome to Tankmas 2024. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Tankmas 2024. I'm Richard Cutland, former tankie with the Royal Tank Regiment in the British Army and now a member of the World of Tanks team. And a massive thank you, of course, to the Satin Dolls, who we'll be hearing more from later on.
My name's Nick, and it's a real privilege to welcome you all here for Tankmas 2024, and of course to be welcoming back our friends from World of Tanks.
Hi, I'm David Baggley. I'm from World of Tanks as well, with the head of community. And thank you very much, Nick, for bringing us back here for another Tankmas stream. It's a great fun.
So please settle in, put the kettle on, sit back and relax. We'll be joined by a whole host of museums from around the globe, some very special guests, of course, and more live music. Plus, lots of giveaways and some really superb prizes.
Yep, speaking of giveaways, as you may know, we do have Twitch drops going on right now. Within about 70 minutes-ish, many of you will be receiving some 5 large consumables you see on the garage screen there, which is onigiri, some bukti, I think I said that right, some coffee, and then there will be a FV4005 style or the TOG 2. After 180 minutes, you will have a chance of 1 day of premium or a large box, the first time ever, or the SU130 PM.
And for those of you who are new to the Tank Museum, our first video is going to tell you everything you need to know.
The Tank Museum, Bovington, UK. The home of the tank. The home of Tankfest. And home to one of the finest collections of armour in the world. The Tank Museum tells the story of the tank and the people that served in them. There are 300 vehicles here, most of which are displayed inside the museum's large halls. In fascinating modern exhibitions, you'll come face to face with tanks that have seen action in every major conflict since the First World War. From the world's first tank to some of the latest, there is an extensive World War II collection and unique examples of the prototypes that didn't quite make the grade. With a workshop facility and an extensive archive and supporting collection, the Tank Museum is a centre of armoured excellence, sharing its passion with a global audience on its YouTube channel. As a not-for-profit organisation, our work is funded entirely by people like you. You can support us by backing our Patreon, buying something from our online store, joining our Friends scheme, or simply by making a donation using PayPal giving.
Now, the Tank Museum for me means a whole lot, incredibly, from a personal level as well. It's where I began my basic training, just across the road there. But of course, for those of you that don't know where Bovington is, let's face it, Nick, it's sort of nowhere really, is it?
Well, we're in a very remote place for very good historical reasons, as the video there explained. But we're in the rural county of Dorset. We are in the middle of nowhere. It's an hour to Bournemouth, which is the nearest big town. We're about 3 hours away from London. We're on the south coast. We're in the rural county of Dorset, which is, of course, a fantastic place to visit in the summer. The landscape, the countryside here is absolutely stunning. So come on down to Dorset, and when you do, be sure to visit the Tank Museum. Summer is always our busiest time, but for you guys, I guess your busiest time is about now.
Yeah, winter's usually our absolute busiest time. Many of you will know we've got holiday ups going on, which you'll be able to see in a video shortly.
That's close enough. Throw over the bag. It's all there. Let him go. Stands up. It's a trap. Ah! I'm so sorry. I thought you were going to go the other way.
Hey, up there. Let's go again, and can we send the stunt double for this next one?
Can we have the stunt double over as soon as possible, please?
Oh, do you think it's going to leave a bruise here, bro? Santa just got banged in the eye. The elf wants to bang that elf.
Stunt double on set. Stunt double on set.
OK, where's my mark?
Just over there. Wait, what?
What?
You can't be Santa's stunt double.
Why not?
You don't think people will wonder why Santa keeps turning into a ripped Jason Statham?
Nah. They won't give a monkeys about that. They just want to see action. Right, who's getting a slap?
Well, I don't think we would necessarily do that.
2? What is this? Ballroom dancing? We're going to need at least 6. And with proper weapons. One has a pickaxe, the other a flamethrower. And I'm going to need a spoon.
A spoon?
Yeah, a spoon to take out the lights. Spoon, please. We front kick, pickaxe fella, through the window. Backflip towards Goldie over here. Uppercut, shattering his teeth. Finish him off with a right hand to crush his sternum. Then we sneak up behind old flamethrower man here. We put him to sleep. Then, explosion 1, Meg.
Copy.
Who's Meg?
Fire in the hole!
We're smashing up 3 or 4 heads together. Explosion 2. Then, as they're distracted by the tank.
I'm sorry, a tank?
It's a Christmas movie. You're going to need one for the chase scene. Oh, is that tea? Lovely. Thank you very much.
But there is no chase scene. Jason?
I'm so sure about that.
Look, these are all great ideas.
Thank you.
But you just can't do them.
Listen, son, I'm a professional. The script says gaze into the distance. I gaze. If it says parachute from a skyscraper holding a cat, I'm parachute. And if the script says fire off a load of bad guys and escape in a tank, I'm gonna fight.
But the script doesn't say any of that. What I mean is, it's just not that kind of movie.
Well, it is now. What's now on that barrel?
Kind of a second.
Oh, I'm Jason Statham. I've got my little cup of tea and lots of ideas. You thought about that? You thought about that? Oh, that's not good. The script says no, I'll do it. Oh, yeah, that's it, Jason.
End board. 1, take 4.
I think that might be a wrap.
Excellent news.
Solid work. You know what, Santa?
What's that?
I bloody love Christmas.
What a fantastic video from the World of Tanks team. And do you may recognise the coat?
Very nice coat. Love it.
Didn't you find a tenner in the pocket?
Absolutely not, no. Jason Statham, of course, a true action hero. Any favourite Statham movies, Nick?
Do you know what? I absolutely love Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. It's one of those movies, it's quite old now, it must be a good 20-odd years old, but if you haven't watched it, you need to see it. That's probably Jason Statham at his finest, in my opinion.
Now, of course, Christmas TV, we tend to see a lot of reruns,
Oh, yeah.
especially of some oldish war movies. Now, talking of movies and stars, we saw, of course, in that video, Fury appear, one of your stars.
That's right. If the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed the Sherman tank from that film, which was, of course, the Fury, which is the tank that the Tank Museum lent for the movie The Fury, which was unbelievably 10 years ago. 2014, that movie came out. What about you? Is there any particular war movies you're looking forward to watching this Christmas?
So I don't tend to have watched too many, but I am looking forward to rewatching and binge-watching Band of Brothers again. It's nice to just go through the whole thing.
Classic.
Some very famous scenes in there, which we spoke about before the stream. Some very nice tank scenes, but the whole story's the big one for me.
What about you, Richard? Have you got any particular...
Do you know, I'm a true Kelly's Heroes fan. None more so for the pure fact of the actors, I mean, true legends of the screen, and of course, loosely based on a true story, but just an incredibly...
I didn't realise that.
Did you not realise
No,
that?
I didn't realise that.
Feel good movie.
Some great tanks in it as well, of course. It's famous because it has the Shermans in it, but it's got this really cool-looking Tiger recreation.
really good for a,
I think it was based on a T-34, wasn't it? But it actually looks pretty good.
Okay. So I believe that I know some of you spoke about Saving Private Ryan and liking the pistol shot scene on there. But yeah, this is our 4th Tankmas stream. I think is the 4th. Is it the 4th? Yes, it's the 4th Tankmas stream from this museum, which is seems to have been going on quite some time, and we love it as always. Holiday Ups for that time has also evolved quite a lot from the very first version, and we're going to be able to show you very quickly now in a video of how it's evolved through those years.
Close enough.
Start accomplishing those missions. Share the festive spirit. Decorate your garage. Obtain gifts. Create your own holiday spirit.
Get ready for holiday ops and tons of festive action in World of Tanks.
Create your own holiday atmosphere. Holidays approaching. And celebrate the holiday season together with us and your friends. Holiday Ops is coming.
See you at the party.
Winter in World of Tanks will be anything but boring. So jump in and join the fun.
Get rewards and don't miss Holiday Ops. The holidays are already here.
Now, it's also really interesting to see how the garages have evolved over the years. So, David, tell us, what tank is going to be parked in your garage?
Well, I mean, it was a bit of a spoiler from last year when I said I love the tortoise, and we are stood in front of it this year. I absolutely love this tank for the ridiculousness that it represents.
It's looking very festive, though.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
very
nice.
festive. They've done a very good job of decorating it, and I'm sure Santa is very jealous right now of the museum and what they've got on show for all the presents. What about you?
Well, I've got to say, for me, I love to play as Tog 2. There's just nothing more enjoyable than chunking around in that great big thing. And actually, that reminds me, if you're a fan of Tog 2 and you'd like to know a little bit more about it, we're actually releasing a video on our YouTube channel next week, which takes a really in-depth dive. So if you want to find out more about Tog 2, be on our YouTube channel next Friday. Come along and subscribe. What about you, Richard?
Well, I hate to admit it, but I mean, this time of the year is terrible for me because I'm the only man with 4 other women in the house, so I really don't get a lot of screen time,
Just
to
not
be
allowed.
perfectly honest. Just not allowed. But I have to say, and just to our right, absolutely, of course, the Centurion, one of my favourites.
Tank, yeah, the post-war warrior. Now, isn't that the tank that you served in when you first signed up?
I'm going to ignore that question whatsoever. It's a bit of a long-standing joke with me.
Never miss an opportunity?
No, I did not start on Centurion. Chieftain was the first tank that I started on. Now, 2024, of course, was the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and we partnered with the D-Day Story in Portsmouth to bring another live stream, and here's a little recap. Hello and welcome to this very special D-Day live stream, brought to you from the deck of the only surviving D-Day landing craft tank 7074 here in Portsmouth at the D-Day Story.
And the reason the D-Day Story is here is because this area played such a big part in D-Day.
So this first gallery is all about preparations to D-Day. So it's starting at the point, why was D-Day necessary? How did the Allies put the plan together? So things like the choice between Normandy and Pas-de-Calais. So it's really early stages of the plan, like where did the Allies actually land?
Well, Richard, that looked great, but I understand if you missed it, it's still available to watch on Twitch and on YouTube. But yeah, Richard, it looks like you took quite the road trip this summer to some of the best museums in Europe.
We did, and the weather was great as well, which is an added bonus. We started off here, of course. We went to the D-Day Story in Portsmouth. We took a boat across to Normandy. We visited Maisie Battery, as you saw on the video there. We also took a look around the incredible Overlord Museum, which is actually featured later on in the live stream. And we also went up as far as Semur, the French tank museum.
Amazing. Well, on the subject of D-Day, for our next video, we asked Chris Copson, one of our historians, to tell us a little bit more about the specialised armour that was used during D-Day.
Hello, happy Tankmas. In this film, we're going to be looking at the vehicles of 79th Armoured Division. Now, 79th Armoured is not a conventional armoured formation. It's a holding unit for some very strange, specialised, but also highly effective vehicles. And the same could be said of its commanding officer, Major General Sir PCS Hobart, known as Hobo. Consequently, the vehicles in 79th Armoured get called Hobos Funnies. If you land on an enemy-occupied beach, one of the things you're likely to encounter are mines. And these can be things like anti-tank mines, the German Telemine, Sprengmine, Bouncing Betty, jumps out the ground at you. So you're going to need something to clear that out of the way, clear the minefield so you can actually get your troops and your armour through. And this was Hobart's solution. This is the Sherman Crab. Perfectly ordinary M4 Sherman tank, but on the front there's a rotating drum, chains, heavy weights. These pound the ground and detonate mines. There's also this serrated wheel that cuts through barbed wire. The thing had a gearbox, so you can vary the speed depending on ground conditions. And we've had to lose the bow machine gun, but there's still the 75mm gun in the turret and the coaxial machine gun, so the tank can provide fire support. One of the problems encountered in armoured warfare, getting a column of tanks forward, is that you're going to come across obstacles in the road, whether these are roadblocks or perhaps tanks that have been knocked out. You need something to shift those in order to get your armoured column through. And 79th Armoured solution was this. This is the Centaur Dozer. Now, the problem with standard bulldozers, Caterpillar D8s, things like that, you can plaster them with armour plate, but they're too slow. They can't keep pace with the tanks. So what they did here was to take a redundant tank, the Centaur, which was an unsuccessful design, take the turret off and stick a bulldozer blade on the front. That meant you've got a bulldozer that can actually move at the same pace as tanks. The thing that's missing here is there should be a steel hawser that actually runs down here, winch at the back, and that's the way you elevate and lower the bulldozer blade. Very useful piece of kit. One of the things that has been proved absolutely repeatedly is that tanks and infantry need to operate together on the battlefield. They need to support one another. Now, we've got a problem in that obviously tanks are faster than infantry on foot, so we need a vehicle that can take the infantry forward and ideally provide a measure of security from enemy fire. Now, the British Army didn't have a specifically built armoured personnel carrier like the American M16. So the best thing we came up with was this. This is the Ram Kangaroo. And what it is a Canadian Ram tank with the turret removed and infantry inside. It has got a 30 cal Browning there, so it can provide a bit of fire support. But as far as I can see, the biggest disadvantage is the fact that when the infantry want to leave, the only way out is by climbing over the top of the tank. And if you're under fire, it's kind of exposed. Anybody who knows anything about D-Day, or anybody who's just seen the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, will know that landing on an enemy-occupied beach is the most difficult and dangerous thing that you can do militarily. Getting armour, getting tanks on the beach at an early stage will make a big difference. And that's where this comes in. This is the Sherman DD. DD stands for duplex drive, and what this is how you make 25 tons of metal float. It's got a flotation screen around it, rubberized canvas braced on the inside. That massively increases the displacement, so the tank floats. Not only that, it swims, because at the back, the duplex drive bit, there are propellers that send it through the water. These were used with a fair degree of success on D-Day, and then afterwards at the Rhine crossings. This, in my opinion, is one of the most terrifying weapons ever invented. This is the Churchill Crocodile, and it's a flame-throwing tank. Now just think about that for a moment. Nobody likes the idea of being burned alive. And this thing, via a flame gun, and there's an armoured trailer at the back with the flame fueled, that would project a jet of liquid fire up to about 120 metres. Against the pillbox, that goes straight in through one of the apertures, burns the inside out, along with anybody who happens to be there. Very often, with these things, they'd fire a jet of flame next to the pillbox. The next minute, the occupants have all come out with their hands up. I think that's entirely understandable. The last mission that these things were used for was the destruction of the Belsen concentration camp. The inmates had been taken out, those that survived. The camp was riddled with typhus, so the crocodiles were sent in to flame it, to purify it, to get rid of that hideous disease.
I hope you've enjoyed this very quick look at some of Hobart's funnies. If you'd like to know more, head on over to our YouTube channel, where these and other vehicles are covered in much more detail.
What a fantastic video there from Chris, really informative, touching on, some of Hobart's funnies, of course, and Sir Percy Hobart and his team himself. What an incredible guy. I mean, the ingenuity to come up with these ideas to support the ground troops, and also the tactics, something we don't think of too often. Is also, it wasn't just that, he was, responsible for many of the tactics used on and after D-Day.
Yeah, I mean, Hobart was a really interesting character, I think. His career was pretty much over. He was pulled back into the army by Winston Churchill, and went on to lead this unit that was heavily involved in some highly experimental stuff. And the 79th Armoured Division ended up making a massive contribution to certainly the British effort in that sort of later stage of the Second World War. And actually, if you want to know more about the story of the 79th Armoured Division, actually, if you head over to the Tank Museum shop, you can get hold of a copy of a book called Vanguard of Victory, which was written by our very own David Fletcher, which tells the story of the 79th Armoured Division, some of the actions that they're involved with, exactly how they made the contribution, and also looks in a bit more depth at each one of the vehicles that Hobart's Funnies actually deployed.
Now, of course, on all of our live streams, we love collaborating with other museums and also private collectors from around the world. We feel it really adds to bring something to, of course, many of us never have the opportunity to visit any of these places. And Tankmas 24 is no exception. We reached out to a whole host of museums and private collectors and asked them to supply us a little introduction video, and also asked them the question, what would you like for Christmas? And we're going to kick that off now with the D-Day story.
Hello and welcome to the D-Day story in Portsmouth, the UK's only museum covering the momentous day that was the 6th of June 1944 and the Normandy landings. I'm Andrew Whitmarsh, the curator.
And I'm Charlotte Harding, the museum's marketing assistant. The museum is home to LCT 7074, the last preserved landing craft tank that took part in D-Day.
It landed 10 tanks on Gold Beach on the 7th of June 1944, the day after D-Day, and then made many more trips over to Normandy after that over the following weeks and months.
On board, we have 2 tanks, a Sherman Grizzly and a Churchill Crocodile. Inside the museum itself, we tell the story of D-Day through original wartime artefacts and the personal stories of those that took part or witnessed the events themselves.
Displays cover the preparations for D-Day, the day itself, and then the fighting in Normandy that came afterwards.
Here is our Sherman BARV, or Beach Armoured Recovery Vehicle.
These were standard Shermans that were specially converted for use on the Normandy beaches as recovery vehicles.
Finally, we have the 83-metre long overlord embroidery, which tells the story of D-Day and the Battle of Normandy in 34 hand-stitched panels. It was designed by artist Sandra Lawrence and embroidered by the Royal School of Needlework. 2024 marked the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and Portsmouth hosted the national commemoration event on Southsea Common, which was attended by veterans, the King and the Queen.
BBC's Antiques Roadshow filmed a special programme here, which included some items from our collections, and members of the public also brought in some objects they had.
We opened a new display in our Legacy Gallery dedicated to Bernie Jordan, who in 2014 became known as the Great Escaper when he left his Cove care home to attend the D-Day commemoration events for D-Day 70 in Normandy.
The display features Bernie's medals and other items that belong to him. Also, the medals worn by Michael Caine in the film The Great Escaper, which told Bernie's story, and also the medals worn by Pierce Brosnan in the film The Last Rifleman, which was more loosely based on Bernie Jordan's story.
We are fortunate to be regularly offered new items for the D-Day Stories collection, and we've picked 3 to show you today.
So this is a shell case from a Tiger II tank, a German tank. There weren't many Tiger IIs in Normandy, despite their fearsome reputation. And we don't know the exact history of this one, other than that it was found in a barn out there. This coat, covered in the different badges of US Army and Army Air Force units, belonged to Elizabeth Lotary, a British woman working for the American Red Cross, who went over to France and the continent after D-Day, visited many of these units, and after the war also helped US veterans visit the battlefields and built up this amazing collection of badges, which includes those of various US armoured divisions. What tank would we like for Christmas? Well, I'm going to go for the LVT, or Landing Vehicle Tracked, which, strictly speaking, isn't a tank, it's an armoured amphibious vehicle. They were used widely in the Pacific for amphibious operations. Some were available for use in Normandy, but the Allies decided not to use them. So as one of the what-ifs of the operation, if some of the landing craft had been replaced by LVTs, would it have made a difference on D-Day?
And that's it from us. Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
You're watching Tankmas 2024. Welcome back. Now, they mentioned on there, Nick, an LVT. Perhaps you could give them yours.
Well, do you know what? We'd love to, but we just don't have enough gift wrap. I think that would be the biggest problem. And, you know, does anyone have a tree big enough to put that under? I really don't think so. Anyway, thanks for the D-Day story for their contribution there. It's a really interesting museum. Do you know, I remember going there in like the mid-80s. I think it opened to mark the 40th anniversary of D-Day. So, fantastic place. I'm clearly well overdue a visit.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, it's one of those places, I'll be honest, I never knew existed until we were looking, obviously, at the D-Day story and everything that was going on there. So again, well worth a visit if you get the chance to in Portsmouth. Now, carrying on with our museums, of course, and one of the places we love to visit is the French Tank Museum in Saumur. And here's a little introduction video from them.
Welcome to the French Musée des Blindés. We are based in Saumur. In 11,000 square meters, we exhibit 200 vehicles, starting from World War I to present days. In total, we have tanks and armored vehicles from 17 countries, including unique tanks. Thanks to the work of our mechanics, 100 vehicles are still in working order and can take part in dynamic displays during national and international events. This year was a big year for us. We are working on our Tiger I. This vehicle has an amazing history. Long story short, this vehicle was engaged in the Battle of Normandy in 1944. It was lost due to combat with British forces. It was then abandoned and recovered by the French resistance, which used it as a tool of liberation. Named Bretagne, then Colmar, it was used against German forces, and then used to occupy Germany until 1946. Well preserved in our museum, its mechanical parts were in excellent condition. Restoration is in a very good way, and we do hope one day to see it running next to his brother, Tiger I 131. What do we want for Christmas? That's a good question. Actually, the list is quite long. But as we are working on our Tiger I, which fought in the Battle of Normandy, we would like a Tiger Killer, a vehicle that it fought in Normandy, the Sherman Firefly. The M4 Sherman was lacking punch against top-tier German panzers, but at the same time, it was the best vehicle available quickly and in large number. On another hand, the British had the best anti-tank gun the Western Allies had to offer, the 17-pounder. The main idea was to combine both Sherman and 17-pounder. But such a gun in the turret of the Sherman was a challenge, and the big ammunitions were a problem too. But at the end, the Sherman Firefly met all its requirements. It fought during the Battle of Normandy, in Italy, and then until the end of the war, under British, Canadian, Polish, New Zealand and South African colors. I have often visitors misidentifying the 17-pounder and the 76mm gun, which was an American gun. To differentiate both, there is a simple way. Look at the muzzle brake. On the 17-pounder, the muzzle brake is round, and on the sides, there is round holes. On the 76mm gun, the muzzle brake is quite rectangular, actually, with rectangular holes on the sides. We do hope that Santa will bring us a Firefly for the end of the year. We do hope to see you soon in our museum in Saumur. Please join us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Many thanks to the Bovington Tank Museum. Happy Tankmas and...
What a great video from our friends from the French Tank Museum. If you haven't been, you've got to go. It is definitely, well, the second best tank museum.
You almost said the best then.
The second best tank museum in the entire world. The only disappointing thing, in fact, about that video was that Adrian shaved off his moustache. It was a fantastic moustache, Adrian. You've got to grow it back. Anyway, when you were in Saumur this summer, did you get the opportunity to check in on their Tiger project?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what an amazing project to get involved in. Kicked off, I believe, last November, a crowdfunded project. So, of course, many people involved in it there. And, you know, massive thank yous for everybody who got involved. Well underway, I think, is the way to sum it up. Of course, a long way to go. I know the aspiration was, hopefully, fingers crossed, but you know how projects are like, to get it done in time for the anniversary of the Liberation in 2025. But, of course, Nick, you down at the Tank Museum are only too aware of how the complexities of restoring and even keeping up to date and repairing a Tiger One.
I think it's fair to say Tigers can be a little bit of a challenge. For now, at least, of course, though, the Tank Museum is, for now at least, the only place where you can still see a Tiger One in full running condition.
For now.
For now. We like to run ours twice a year, Tiger Day in April and September. And this summer, our Tiger engine was subject to a thorough rebuild. And you can see more in this video.
For now, at least, there's nowhere else in the world you can see an authentic wartime Tiger tank in action. Tiger 131 is our most famous exhibit, and it's powered by the famously delicate Maybach engine. This summer, it underwent a major overhaul, which was successfully completed in time for September's Tiger Day event. Chris, our head of collections, explains how the appearance of an oil leak led to the most substantial rebuild in over 10 years.
We basically had a moment of low oil pressure on the engine, which caused damage to one of the white metal bearings of a big end white metal bearing. Luckily, it was shut down by the engine itself, because it shuts itself down if the oil pressure is low. It shuts the fuel off, or we cut it down. We stopped the engine before it got any worse, and we towed the vehicle in for inspection.
The oil leak was traced back to a fissure in the sump, but this could only be repaired following the careful removal of the engine from the tank. This gave the team the opportunity to give the engine a full inspection.
We stripped the engine with help from our Czech friends from Army Tech, and we were quite pleased that, even though we realized we had a problem because there was a lot of white metal in the bottom of the sump, we also realized this can be fixed, and it never got really overheated, so it never got stuck. It just, it started chewing some of the bearing material. We've been working with a company called Formal, just south of Salisbury. They have done a fantastic job just re-white metaling these particular bearing shells, and we are actually, hopefully my colleague Dan, the workshop manager, is going to collect those shells today.
But as they started to look, they found something more concerning.
When we stripped it all those weeks ago to get the big ends out, we had to lift one of the cylinder heads to get the pistons and the connecting rods out of that side, because the crank shaft is still in the engine. When we did that, I mentioned last time, I believe, that we clearly have had issues over the years with this engine, unbeknown to us, about cooling problems, because a lot of the cooling channels from the cylinder block to the cylinder head were actually quite blocked with a lot of sealant. So as a result of that, the engine must never had a proper coolant, especially the cylinder head. So what that caused over years, and that wasn't a recent thing, that there was obviously not enough cooling. So the pistons got quite tight in the liners, and that caused quite a bit of scarring both on the pistons and on the liners. So what we've done, obviously everything's been removed. Les Wilkins, our volunteer here in the workshop, has been doing a lot of good work on honing those liners to get the grooves out of it. This is the one that still has to be cleaned, but here's a good example where we all cleaned it up, making sure that all the dirt is gone. And my colleague Dan has found a good supplier for new piston rings. So what happens when you have scored piston liners, you make these piston rings very sharp. They bite into these grooves.
Using archived documents, new drawings were made so that new head gaskets could be made. And when all the pieces were ready, reassembly could begin.
So we are now using the original method to seal the cylinder head and cylinders. The cylinder heads here was sealed by the copper rings. It's a method which will be used today for the high pressure engines, but this method is very comfortable for using on the field. That's the way why the German engineers choosing this method to how to seal the compression chamber, the burning chamber of the engine. The rest of the surface was sealed by the common gasket, common sealant material for the modern engines. It's still same. So there is necessary to get absolutely perfect clearances, the different clearances between flat seal and copper ring to get a correct tension if we tie the cylinder head on the correct torque.
Workshop volunteer Les explained the issues they found with the pistons and how they fixed them.
When we disassembled the engine, we found that in this region of the skirt there'd been an element of scuffing where the pistons had been tight in the bores, and it was on both sides. So we decided that what we would do is we would slightly clean the pistons up to take away the scuffing, and you can see there, I don't know whether you can see it, some of the lines are still, the very deep ones are still there, but most of it is now machined to be a flat surface. The other thing we did is we put new rings on because the rings had been damaged. And of course, the final thing we had to do is to hone the cylinder bores. So now that we've got a good cross hatch honed into the bores, the pistons are now smooth again, and we've got new rings that are got good surfaces, we can put the pistons back in and be confident that it will run successfully.
Having completed the assembly, the engine needed to be tested before it could be reinstalled into the tank.
Okay, we're just about to do our final run of the engine before it goes back in the vehicle. It has run once before, but since then we've had the rocker covers off just to cure a few leaks. We've re-torqued the cylinder heads, reset the tappets, so it's now been resealed, everything's been torqued down, and assuming this run goes successfully and we have no problems, we then be completely ready to go back in the vehicle.
What we're going to do then is we'll go for a natural start. If it doesn't start, then we're going to have to inject some fuel down the carburetors.
Okay.
And then it will start.
Before starting up, the air filters are secured to the carburetors to prevent dust and other impurities being sucked into the engine. Then the over 80-year-old engine is ready to be started on this custom-built engine stand. It starts first time, easing the tension in the workshop. The large blue barrel on the left is full of water, which is standing in for the engine cooling system. Dan keeps a careful eye into the oil levels and tops it up with straight 30 engine oil as it begins to circulate around the pristine engine. Here, they're using compressed air to try and spot any evidence of leaks. Then it was time for a second test. With our camera microphones, it's difficult to appreciate just how noisy this engine is running without the exhaust pipes connected. But it's very loud, which is why the team are wearing ear protection. You can see Buzz holding his hand over the exhaust manifold on the left bank, He's doing this to check the exhaust temperature, as he noticed it's far cooler than it should be. With an oil leak being the main reason for the overhaul, the team are keeping a close eye on the oil pressure. A reading of about 7 bar is good. The second test is complete. It's been run for about 20 minutes to get it up to temperature.
Oh, is it good? Are we happy? Yeah. There's a step aside. Slight issue over the other side, running slightly cooler than this side. So we can look into. Overall, it's dry. There's no leaks. It's really good. Good success. Great shout to all the guys that have got an all the time the effort to get to this point. So happy.
The cool left side of the engine was caused by a timing issue, which was fixed by resetting the magnetos. Throughout the busy summer season, Tiger 131 had been on display without its engine. Now the engine was ready to go back in. The tank had to be towed across to the site using the Bergpanzer. As it goes, it's impossible not to think about that April day in 1943, that this tank was fought to a standstill in the desperate struggle for point 174 in Tunisia.
All right, so we're back here with the Tiger. Obviously, you saw the last time the guys had really built up the engine nicely and was running on the test stand. And now Gary and James here are hooking everything up. They're installing the fan drive gearboxes that drive the cooling fans. And I think they're just connecting the drive shafts to these from the engine, which is driven from the engine to these gearboxes, then to the fan drives. So just installing that. The exhaust has been mostly, I believe, installed. You can see the exhaust on the back, but also connected to the engine already. And I think there's some cooling channels left to be installed. So basically, it's like a puzzle. You see the bits over there left on the ground, what's left to be installed. You see the big engine deck. You see quite a few of the cooling hoses still to be connected. But they're doing a fine job. And inside, where Richard is, inside the turret, he's connecting the drive shaft end of the engine with the drive shaft, which of course, because the gearbox and the steering box are in the front of the vehicle, so you have a big drive shaft running through, which in some ways makes it easy because you just have the engine and not the gearbox altogether. But at the same time, look at the space they're dealing with. It's a very, very narrow and small engine base. But yeah, Richard, who's apparently doing a lot of work down there, he's installing the Scirocco fan, which sucks the air out from the front over the gearbox and steering box, and then blows it, I understand, through the engine bay, but also specifically through the exhaust shrouds to keep the hot gases going out. And that's it's a fan that's directly attached to the engine, and there's a big shroud around it. He just called it, looks like a washing machine, so it looks like a washing machine. And that's being installed by Richard. Gary was just using a few encouraging words when a particular nut fell down the engine bay. But they're doing a great job, considering the engine was only built and test run last week and finally test run early this week. There were a lot more puzzle pieces on the floor yesterday. So yeah, the team have done a fantastic job.
It's not the terrifying weapon it once was, but a fragile museum piece. A small team with a limited budget doing phenomenal work. Thanks to them, the engine was refitted and the Tiger would run again, to delighting the 4,500 strong crowd at Tiger Day in September. And it's thanks to our visitors and supporters that we can continue to do what we do best: display and preserve these fascinating vehicles for future generations to enjoy. If you appreciate the work the Tank Museum is doing, please consider supporting us by making a donation, becoming a member, or coming to see us at Tiger Day April 2025. For more information, visit tankmuseum.org.
What an amazing job the workshop staff and volunteers do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it looks easy, doesn't it? We get all these vehicles out for things like Tankfest, for Tiger Day and that kind of thing. But you know what? They're a small team. They haven't got an endless supply of money. You know, between them and the volunteers, they do pretty much achieve miracles. And you can see the work that they did there on the Tiger engine over the summer. You know, they were up against the clock to an extent. You know, we needed to get the Tiger running again for Tiger Day in September. And, you know, they delivered in spades. It really was an impressive piece of work, and we're extremely proud of the work they do.
And now we're going to go back to another museum, and we're going to nip across the pond to visit the Overlord Museum in Normandy.
Bonjour, donc je suis Nicolas Leloup, président fondateur d'Overlord Museum au Omaha Beach en Normandie, à Colleville-sur-Mer. C'est un musée que j'ai créé en 2013 pour exposer les collections débutées par mon père dans les années 70 et dans le but de les partager, de les présenter, mais aussi de partager surtout l'histoire et l'histoire des objets, l'histoire de la bataille de Normandie et du débarquement. Overlord Museum présente 21 scènes reconstituées avec un grand réalisme. Ces 21 scènes retracent l'ensemble de l'opération Overlord en Normandie, avec les collections du musée qui sont composées d'une quarantaine de véhicules blindés, la plupart provenant de la bataille de Normandie et récupérés par Michel Leloup, mon père. Overlord Museum présente entre autres un char Panzer V Panther qui était l'un des principaux Panzers présents dans la bataille de Normandie. C'est un char directement issu des combats et retrouvé dans la région de Rannes. Il est présenté dans le cadre d'un atelier de réparation avec une grue pour détourer le char et pouvoir faire l'entretien, la maintenance à l'intérieur. Ce qui est une présentation unique au monde. Le grappin présenté a servi au 2e bataillon de Rangers pour escalader la pointe du Hoc le 6 juin. Et c'est le modèle et l'exemplaire le plus complet connu à ce jour qui a survécu et qui nous est parvenu. 2024 aura été une année exceptionnelle et mémorable avec les commémorations du 80e anniversaire du débarquement et de la bataille de Normandie. Nous avons organisé 8 jours d'événements sur site avec 30 chars et blindés, donc présentés en dynamique, dont les pièces maîtresses du musée des blindés de Saumur, comme le Tigre 2, le Panzer 4, le Panzer 2, et l'ensemble des chars américains ainsi qu'anglais. Ce qui a été l'occasion pour Overlord Museum de recevoir beaucoup de vétérans américains, les écoles avec qui nous avons organisé les rencontres pour transmettre l'histoire et pour que les jeunes d'aujourd'hui puissent rencontrer ces acteurs qui ont participé à la bataille de Normandie et au débarquement. Le Tigre 2 reste une pièce d'exception qui manque dans les collections d'Overlord Museum et qui pourrait être le char souhaité dans les collections pour Noël et pour l'année 2025.
Hi, we hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you'd like to find us online, you can follow us at the Satin Dolls.
That's Dolls with a Z.
This next song was very poignant in World War I. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon Virgin Mother and Child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night,
enjoy the rest of the show.
After a hard day of recording best replays, I like to relax with a bit of World of Tanks remote control battle tank carnage. It includes 2 fan favorites, the Tiger 1 and the T-34/85. Feel the power. Get your remote control battle tank from Wargaming Store today.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you very much once again to the Satin Dolls. Here I am where I should give you a reminder of the Twitch drops that are going on right now. So I've got my notes right with me. Very shortly you will be able to get, after 90 minutes, the 5 onigiri, the 5 book tea, the 5 coffee, or a chance of the FE 4005 Thunderchild style, or a TOG 2. If you keep watching, there will be an opportunity to earn one of the following prizes, which is a 1 day of premium, 1 large box, or an SU 130 PM. Again, it is a chance, not guaranteed. Make sure you claim them. I know we've had some small issues with the Gleam link going on right now where you can win some of the prizes. So we're going to have very quickly right now a first quick draw. And so the first one is going to be, and I already know, but I'm going to cheat. So I've got to open this box. I'm going to need to put my notes down. Bear with me. I think you might be able to guess from the video we've just had. I know a lot of people are going to be very excited about what they're going to be there. So hopefully I don't break this and hopefully the balloons work. We have the box. Now, try and not ruin this. We have a very nice little bow. Don't you like the bow? We're going to put it on the tortoise because it deserves another one. Now, let's hope. Okay, didn't miss it. See, look at this nice little spectacle. All for you, chat. I hope you enjoy it. We have some nice little balloons. I know our producer has worked very hard on these going forward. And so here you go. Oh, very heavy, nice RC battle tank. So we do have some winners on the board just to my left, and Santa has a very nice list of the people on the nice list. Let me just move the balloon out of the way. Hopefully you can see it. These are the winners. So we have Power Defy. I assume I'm saying this right. I do apologize. We have the Steel Impala. Very nice. Congratulations and well done. The next name I'm going to struggle, which is Yavariel. Thank you very much and congratulations to you. We have Luke Mark D. Congratulations to you. That's very nice of you as well. And Katru. Katru, I assume is how I'm saying that. All of you will be contacted with the email address that you provided on Gleam link. We'll make sure that you want them, then we'll get them shipped out to you as soon as we can once we've confirmed that you've got them. You need to claim them within a certain time frame. And yeah, that's everything for now. Thank you very much. But I do have some more news. Let me just very quickly run back to the next piece of information. There we go. And so this year we had a great and wonderful time during Tankfest where we got to do a couple of cool activities, and there was a very key particular tank that was highlighted this year. And you're going to be able to see in the video that's coming up shortly, going through all the fun activities, the content, and even the stream that we did from Tankfest this year.
Oh yeah, Tankfest last year was absolutely awesome. Well, I'm joined now by the Tank Museum's director and my boss, so I'd better be careful what I say. So Chris Price, you've been in the job now for, well, almost a year. You've got your first 12 months under your belt. So tell us, what have you learned about the Tank Museum? What have the highlights of the year been from your perspective?
I've learned so much in the last 12 months. I'm very, very lucky in it. And I think my predecessor, Richard Smith, said it was the best job in the world. I can understand exactly why he said that. But I've learned that I've got a very good team here, very focused about what we've got to do and what we're here to do, and tell the story of tanks and the people who served in them. And we've made little changes and little adjustments, but fundamentally it's making sure that we keep doing what we've been doing for many, many years, and in some ways just try and do it a little bit better. Yeah. Well, it must have been great for you to see your first Tankfest this year. It was. I must be overwhelmed. I was quite amazed by just how big it was, and actually what people don't see, I think, is what goes on behind the scenes. And behind the scenes is there's a kind of army of beavers working away, making sure that the thing looks smooth on the day, but behind there's those little events going on and little things that have to be dealt with. And I think just seeing such a professional event delivered so well is overwhelming. And of course, we've talked about this before on stream. You're a former RAF engineer, of course. Yeah, the RAF.
No comments. I promise no comments.
No one's perfect.
They look stupid with that.
But as an engineer, have you been? I'm sure you're obviously impressed by the work that was done on the Tiger engine this year, for example. Yeah, the Tiger engine was interesting actually, because you do have to remind yourself that although it is this Maybach engine and everything's fantastic about it and a great mysterious kind of beast the Tiger is, that actually fundamentally it was a Second World War internal combustion engine. And actually, your average car that sat in the car park has probably got more technology behind it. But even so, it was good that we were able to react to it. We kind of made damn sure that Tiger Day still went ahead, and an awful lot of work went on. But no, technically it was a learning lesson for us. I don't think we should be so frightened if we come across minor problems with the engine again in the future. So no, all in all, a good project. And of course, you've come from the heritage railway industry. There must be quite a few similarities really between what it is we do here and what heritage railways do. Yeah, I think there is. It's all big and heavy and very expensive, but also there's enthusiasm behind it. It's the detail and the nuances within the scope of what the subject matter is, which is still kind of that thing that draws people in, and we understand that. I think what the Tank Museum is so much better at is telling that story and actually engaging with people and actually giving people what they want, not only within the museum, but there's 224,000 people still come around the museum every year, but also the online stuff, and it works so well. Yeah. And has there been any surprises for you? Anything you weren't expecting? Yeah. Working as a Tank Museum? I think, yes, there has been actually, and I think the main surprise to me was quite how enthusiastic people are about tanks. And I think that I kind of got it. I thought, well, this can be fun, but it's overwhelming. It really is. It's an overwhelming, and then the more you kind of get into it, the more you get sucked in by it, and it really is a fascinating. But it's also the human element that goes with it. I think that's the thing that really kind of bites for me. It's not so much the tanks are heavy engineering and they're very fascinating and great, but actually the people serving in it. And I think we have to remind ourselves that we're also the Regimental Museum of the Royal Tank Regiment and also for the Royal Armoured Corps, and actually making sure that we tell those people stories is also very, very important. Absolutely, yeah, of course. So, a new year is about to be upon us, Chris. Yes, indeed. Have you got any kind of, can you tell us what your aspirations are for next year? My aspirations is we invest in our ability to continue to tell the story, and I think that's key. We've probably not, and I don't think it's unfair to say we've probably not invested in the backroom staff to the level we should have done, and also the infrastructure. So, we're looking at investing in our archives. So again, those stories that come online, we can more quickly and easier get those stories online to the point where they can be broadcast. And you've got to invest the people into that. When you say investing, actually, it's probably worth saying that that's a big project, isn't it? We're making the archive and library a much bigger. Yeah, a bigger building. And it's in memory of Richard Ogorkovich. A lot of people will probably know him from some of the books he's written, but he left some money to the Tank Museum, and it's a great way that we can actually look at his memory, put that into action, and it's a seven-figure sum investment, and it will be an imposing building with the right
facilities for people to tell the stories.
Definitely, and better for public access as well, which is really important for people who want to come here and do research, as World of Tanks have done in the past, of course, use the archive and library here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of your most underused, undervalued, if that's the right word, resources down here. It is incredible. And, you know, I'd just like to say, Chris, from us, it's been many years we've been working at the Tank Museum, so thank you for everything you and your staff do. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure. I mean, Tankfest, as you say, is chaos from your side, chaos from our side, for different reasons, of course. But I do, you know, really appreciate the way we work together. And I think, you know, certainly our audience appreciates.
I think while we're mutually backslapping, I'll also say that it's the same for us. With the exposure we get through our relationship with World of Tanks is significant, and in reality, it is charitable. It enables us to continue to tell those stories, and I think the more we get that word out there, the better everything becomes.
There is one thing which I know we're going to start looking at next year, which you might be able to tell us a little bit more about, is obviously tanks are vehicles that don't have a particularly environmentally friendly record, but next year we're going to be trialling out something which might help decrease our carbon footprint ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think
it all counts.
It's a really exciting thing, actually. We do have to be aware that we have an environmental carbon footprint, and I think in this day and age everybody's very conscious of that, and we can't shy away from that. So one of the issues we're looking at is biofuels in the tanks, not only biodiesel but also biopetrol. So we're doing experiments with our 432 vehicles this year. We're going to be running those on biofuels, and if it works, and if the experiments go the way we think they're going to go, then we will roll it across the fleet. But we've obviously got to do that research and development every couple of years, see what effect it has on things like oil filters and so fuel filters. You know, I think it's great that we're working with Motor Fuel Group, and they're kind of helping us out and giving us access to their research and development. But no, it's just a nice thing to say that actually that not only are we enjoying our hobby, but we're also being mindful of the environment at the same time. And
I guess there'll be benefits across the wider military vehicle heritage community as well from what we're doing.
Yeah, I think if it happens and it works, you know, the one advantage of although tanks do burn a lot of fuel, they don't burn it for very long. You know, in demonstration mode, we're not running them all day like they are in service. So consequently, although you can actually make differences which do increase your costs a little bit, but it makes significant change.
Yeah. Chris, well, thank you very much for coming to speak to us today.
Well, thank you.
I think you've done a sterling job for the last year. And,
well done.
Long may it
we'll
continue.
talk on Monday about your pay rise, then, shall we?
Now, Chris, one final question from me. Having XRF now in this tank world, you got a favourite tank?
Yeah, yes. It's quite easy actually, but people go, "Oh, I thought it was a boring one." But the T-34, and I think
that's not boring.
And I think the T-34 just looks right from an engineering point of view. You look at it and think, "Yeah, I like the fact that you make a tank. It's made at lowest cost." And I was always taught in the service is fit for purpose at the cheapest possible cost. And you know, and on that basis, it's a real value for money quality tank. And I think that really that's the tank. If I had to be nailed down, that's the one I look at. And I think, yeah, I can get that one.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable choice.
Good choice.
I mean, from an engineering perspective, is there anything about the T-34 that particularly impresses you? I understand the engine was extremely
actually
important.
The rough finish.
You like that?
You know, it's a surprise. If you look at most of the T-34s, you can see where the plates have been gassed off and then roughly welded on, because that actually is a tank built for a purpose.
Yeah.
And actually, you're not going around frilly making it look beautiful, which is rather a strange comment to make about a tank. But if you know what I mean. I think that it's just that kind of engineering, absolutely basic finish that I think is the thing that really strikes and sets it apart.
And if there was one vehicle that you'd yet to see running at Tankfest, what might that be? Would it be one from the museum's collection?
I'd personally like to see Tiger 2 going.
You'd like to see a Tiger 2 going?
Yeah, and if I'm honest with you, I think that's also one of the initiatives that we're hoping to kickstart this year. And we've started to put the project plan together, so there you go, there's a bit of an exclusive. We are about to kick off the Tiger 2 project, which again is another 7-figure sum project. And I think first thing we do over the next 6 months is take it apart, evaluate it, find out what bits are warm, what bits we have to replace, what bits we have to source. So it's quite exciting times, and from my point of view as an engineer, I'm going to be front and centre on that.
Yeah.
And so seeing that back running again, I think, It would be something I'd be able to put the cherry on the top of the cake.
Well, you heard it here first.
Well, you did. That's an exclusive, a Tankmas exclusive. So, yeah, fantastic
We've
stuff.
got to keep up with it anyway. We've got to keep up with the world.
Absolutely have. So, no doubt you'll be able to find out more about that project on the Tank Museum website in due course. But, yeah, very exciting project. I don't think we're saying by any means it's going to be ready in time for Tankfest 2025.
I said it
Don't commit to anything. Poor old Chris Van Schardenberg would be having a heart attack if he heard that. But at least we're not saying it's the TOG, right? We don't have to get the TOG running in time. Anyway, Tankfest thank you, Chris. Thank you very much for coming to speak to us.
Thank you, Chris.
Tankfest is, of course, back next year on the 27th to the 29th of June. World of Tanks will be joining us as well. No doubt we'll be doing a live stream from the Mound again this year. Later on in the stream, we are going to be giving away some Tankfest Unlimited tickets, so be sure to stick around for those later on. But of course, we do have some big plans for Tankfest as well next year. Not all of them are finalised yet. We will be releasing those in the new year. But I have to say, it's going to be hard to top what we did last year with the FE 4005.
Of course, FE 4005, star of this year's Tankfest, without any shadow of a doubt. And of course, the driving force behind the restoration was Mr. Joe Hughes and his team. And I was very fortunate that a few weeks ago, I took the opportunity, travelled up to his workshops and spent a bit of time and a catch-up with Joe. So here we are now at the workshops of Mr. Joe Hughes, YouTuber extraordinaire, of course. Joe, for people who perhaps somehow are not aware of what it is you do, perhaps you could just recap for us?
Well, we basically find old vehicles like this, mainly tanks, and we film restoring them as quickly as possible with whatever parts we can find and try and have a bit of a laugh on the way. And we like to try and find oddball vehicles like the 4005. And that's definitely been quite the challenge.
And it's been a busy old year for everybody, none more so than yourself, of course. What have you been up to?
Well, aside from doing the project on the 4005, we've got no end of other things on at the moment. We've got Centurions we're trying to restore, this being one of them. We've got several Chieftain tanks that we're going to overhaul, ready for next year. Diamond T's, T-34s, and some things that I can't quite say
Can't
yet.
talk about at the moment.
Some exciting things on the way as well, which I'm sure everyone will be dying to find out about soon enough. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's start off then. I mean, this behind us at the moment, to me, looks like there's an awful lot of work to do. What's the backstory of this then, Joe?
So this is a Centurion 105 Avery. I actually got offered this from a guy on Instagram, funnily enough, and we bought this from Cambridgeshire. And it had no engine or anything. We got it going a couple of years ago, put an engine in it, and now we're taking the restoration the rest of the way. So we got it up and running mechanically. Now we're just going to do the external restoration and make it beautiful, basically, inside and out, so the turret and everything. So yes, so there's this, and then we've got the Diamond T over there.
Now, I mean, I'm not, I don't know anything
Second World
about
War,
Second
tank
World War.
transporter, very popular, American, brilliant trucks, really. So this would have had like a Rogers trailer on the back and would be pulling things like Shermans or Churchills and things like that in the Second World War. And we're hoping to, well, we've got our hands on a proper trailer that we're going to pull behind it, and then we're going to put our T-34 or maybe some friends' Shermans at shows and events this year. So that's the plan with this one. So we like to actually not only fix the vehicles up, but actually use them, not for the intended purpose, but display them as they would have been used for what they were designed for. So we're quite looking forward to doing a bit of tank transporting at the showground this year.
Fantastic. And over here, I have to say...
I bet you recognise that, don't you?
Yeah, a power pack, which makes me break into a cold sweat whenever I see one.
Yeah. So this is the Chieftain L60 engine out of one of the tanks out the front. We took it out for servicing. We try and, every year, we try and go through all the vehicles that we run on our running fleet and just go through a little bit. So this one had a starter motor issue. The electric starter motor failed, which is a horrendous job. So we've just changed that and we're just mending a few water leaks. But believe it or not...
A few leaks, there's a surprise.
Touch wood, this one is quite reliable.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah.
And you're obviously a fan of Chieftains. I mean, I hark back a bit to a few months ago, Market Harbour event, close to where we are at the moment. A lot of chieftains. Never seen so many chieftains in one place. And to be fair, I mean, a good 80% of them
made it round.
Made it round the track. So, do you enjoy working on this power pack?
I do. A lot of people hate it. I really like it, and the reason for that is because it's old school engineering. It's so simple. I mean, you don't need fancy electronics. The electronics on it are very simple. Everything's mechanical. Everything can be mended, and you haven't got to be Albert Einstein to know how to work it, which is fortunate because we're not the brightest of people. But no, I rather like these. It's good old-fashioned technology that you can keep going forever and ever. Not like today's ECU nonsense.
Fantastic. Okay, let's keep going then. So, Joe, something you don't see every day. I did see the recent video of that.
Well, obviously it is Christmas. Why? You know it's Christmas when there's a robin on the chieftain, as they always say.
Good link.
So this is the one that we're doing the engine power pack repairs on. How the car got up there, I must have fell. But yeah, so again, this is another one that we're going to externally restore and paint up, hopefully for this year. So yeah, plenty to do just on this vehicle itself. Not sure what we'll do with the robin though.
Yeah, I would leave it there if that was at all possible or something. So now, to me, Joe, this looks like it's in a bit of a state at the moment.
Yeah, this one has done a bit. This one's had quite a life. There's some quite good photos on the Merlin archive of this one in service on its roof. It fell off a tank transporter.
Oh, wow.
So this one's always lived quite an interesting life. And my friend that owns this does quite a lot through it, drive through burning cars and all sorts of wacky things. And it's just starting to look a little bit weathered now. And we're thinking now it's probably time we'll give it a nice overhaul because it's a solid tank. It's actually a really good, reliable tank. So we just want to give her a new lease of life externally and ready for this year.
And moving down to the back here, now here's a vehicle I recognise.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. The one that broke down.
This was the one I was on at the Market Harbour event that broke down, yeah.
Yeah, so this is our, what we call GoldenEye Chieftain, was used in the film GoldenEye, not the one that Pierce Brosnan was driving, but it was in one of the scenes. And yeah, we just literally got it going, I think, probably a day before the show that you went to. So yeah, it had some niggles, which they let themselves known in the middle of that race that you came stone cold last in. So yeah, this is another one that we're going to finish off as well this year. In between everything else, we need to just like duplicate ourselves at this point because we've got so many things to do. But yeah, it's more of a external restoration. We want to put the armour packs on as it was in the film, to dress it up as you saw it in the 007 film, and again have it in the race. So if you're going to be there, see if you can win this year, not break down.
No, not break down again. No, absolutely. So ongoing projects. There's
more
been a
ongoing projects. Yeah, more chieftains. This is Concrete Chieftain. Again, went really well last year. So again, we're going to do an external restoration on this.
Concrete Chieftain.
Concrete Chieftain. Called Concrete Chieftain because it was a gate guard and they'd filled the whole engine bay up to the brim with concrete.
Wow.
And obviously knackered all the wiring and everything. So that was another one of our major projects. And now is probably my favourite Chieftain because nobody ever thought it'd ever run again. So we've proved everybody wrong. So yeah, we want to make that one look nice as well. And this is the Mark III, quite an early one. No Stilbur on the front. That's got a bit of fuel system issues. So we're going to take the pack out, give that the service. But otherwise, I'd like to keep that. We're not going to be painting that one. It's quite original how it is. So plenty of Chieftain projects, but we don't want to bore everyone with that. So we've got other things coming as well.
So yeah, going forward into next year then, Joe, I mean, do you ever have is there a plan for anything?
There's never a plan.
Never a plan.
Everything's winged, and we try and prioritise what the people like. So, you know, this is stuff that we've got to do anyway, but we'll try and piece it together to make it as exciting for our viewers as we can. Because if we just worked on one vehicle for 6 months, everyone gets bored of it. So it's difficult because it means we have to sort of do a bit and then stop and then do something else. But we quite like it now. It keeps it exciting, and there's a lot of more doors opening, shall we say, for us and exciting things to come, which is obviously makes better filming for you guys to watch. So
absolutely. And I mean, the highlight certainly for us at Tankfest this year was, of course, the 4005.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an amazing job you and your team did on that. I know it was quite close to the wire.
Yeah, it was very stressful at the time
when it kept there. But I mean, would you say it's one of the most enjoyable projects to date, or did you find it incredibly hard work?
I'll be honest, it was such a massive sense of achievement.
Yeah.
And to know that, you know, that our little team restored that, and hopefully it'll be remembered for years to come, is a great experience. And like I say, thank you all for giving us that chance. But again, people always ask, what's it like to drive? Quite rubbish, is the honest opinion, but still, nevertheless, a brilliant vehicle, and yeah, we enjoy every time we take it out.
And I noticed that, I mean, obviously we saw it at Tankfest where it got its debut performance around the arena. Since then, it's been, I know it was at Market Harbour.
It's been all over the place. It's been very busy. Yeah, it's been, and I think that's quite a nice thing because that allows more people to see it. So it's doing a bit of a road show with us this year and we'll probably do a similar sort of thing again next year to give everyone the opportunity to see it as much as possible. But yeah, we'll be at Tankfest with it again next year. And hopefully it goes as well as it did this year.
Fantastic. Joe, to you and your guys, thank you so much. I mean, not only, of course, for what you do, for allowing us into your home, into your sacred space, and sharing this time with us.
No
really
problem
appreciate
at all.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. On behalf of me and the team here, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody that's followed the channel and supported us. A very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I absolutely love Joe's YouTube channel. Just everything he does just seems really sort of interesting, doesn't it? Engineering is one of those things that, you know, they're trying to encourage more young people to get into, and obviously I think it's channels like that are really gonna help it. Engineering can seem a little bit boring, but certainly not the way they do it.
No, absolutely.
Now, when you were there, did he give you any idea of what they might be up to in the future?
Yes. Am I allowed to share any of these future plans? No, but all I can say is, obviously, you know, keep watching Joe's channel. It is absolutely fantastic. Mr. Hughes, check it out on YouTube, and he's got some exciting things coming up in the future. Now, talking of exciting projects, or maybe not so exciting, what's your opinion? I believe you've got an ongoing project at the moment.
Well, I'm excited to say that for Tankfest next year, we are restoring what has to be the most boring tank ever. Watch this video.
Almost every home or garage hides a dark secret, the abandoned project.
This is ours, the M47. It's the only M47 that the Tank Museum has, and it's never been on public display before. It spent most of its service life with the Italian army, from whom it was acquired in 1987. Not long after, museum volunteers set to the task of restoring it to running order. But that was nearly 30 years ago.
In that time, the Tank Museum's volunteers have helped restore numerous historic tanks, swelling the Tank Museum's running collection for our enjoyment at events like Tankfest.
But with all of that work to do, the M47 project went further down the to-do list, and it's been waiting here ever since. But with your help, we can change that. We want to reassemble and restore our M47 for the first time since it arrived here, for it to be ready in time for Tankfest 2025. This will involve a full system overhaul and cosmetic restoration for it to be ready by June next year.
The US-built M47 probably isn't the most interesting tank in history, but it's still an important part of the Cold War story. Rushed into production at the outbreak of the Korean War in 1950, it featured an M46 hull with an improved turret, mounting a more powerful 90mm gun. It never saw action with the US forces and was quickly superseded by the M48, but large numbers were supplied to US allies around the world. With almost 2,500, of which this was one, Italy received the largest number. But they were also used in large numbers by nations including Belgium, Germany, Spain, Turkey, Jordan, Iran, Pakistan, Portugal and Austria. Where in 1965, a young Arnold Schwarzenegger completed his military service as an M47 crew member. He liked the M47 so much that he bought the very tank he served in and had it shipped from Austria to his US home in 1992.
Having a fully functioning M47 would be a great addition to our collection of running Cold War vehicles. But to fund this, we need to raise £50,000. There's a lot of work to do, but we think we've got the best person for the job.
We're partnering with engineer Matthew Pyle, who has recently completed his own M47 restoration project. As a result, there isn't anything worth knowing about the M47 that he doesn't already know.
Support our M47 project today by helping us raise £50,000 in memory of every project you've started but never finished. Let's get this done. Visit tankmuseum.org/M47 to get involved.
A huge thank you, of course, to Fam the Tank Man there. Again, I know a lot of you are huge fans of Fam the Tank Man, so don't forget to check out his channels on the YouTube Museum and also the social media channels, of course. Now, Nick, the reason I said also about the project, everything I've heard so far, the video from Fam, I mean, M47, is it really the most boring tank in history?
Well, it certainly wasn't the most exciting, but no, I'm only joking, really. I mean, its origins and you know, its use with native forces in particular means it's got a pretty sort of unremarkable history, I suppose, but you can't deny that it made up a really significant part of the Cold War tank force in the West during those Cold War years. And because it's the only one we've got in our collection, you know, it is very, very important to us. It's very important to us that we get that tank put back together, and particularly get it back into running order, working with Matt Pyle, who we know has successfully completed that project himself on a different vehicle. You know, we think it's a project that's completely achievable, and we're very confident will be completed in time for the Tankfest deadline. We've got a £50,000 fundraising target. We're already halfway there, so if there's anything that you can do to help us just kind of secure that final 50%, of course we'll be very, very grateful. All the information you need is on our website.
And as you said there, you mentioned Matt Pyle actually doing the restoration project for you. Again, as Fam said in the video there, I first met Matt at Tankfest this year with his M47. Absolutely mint, incredible. So I quite agree there that, you know, in my opinion, nobody knows more about M47s than Matt, of course.
Well, there is perhaps one other person, and we alluded it to in the video, we would love, and if anybody knows him, you know, anyone's got his phone number, or if you're watching Arnold Schwarzenegger, we're inviting you to come to Tankfest next year and drive the M47 around our arena. I think that would be a very fitting way to end this project. So, Arnie, if you're watching, you know where we are. Man, hit us up.
Good luck there.
Thanks.
And now back to our video submissions, and it's time to catch up with Romain, the host of Military Machine FR.
Hi everyone, I'm Ron from Military Machine.
Hello, I am Michał from Panzer Farm. Welcome to our family collection. I would like to show you something.
Wow.
Our new project, almost finished, full restoration. So, let's drive it.
Let's go?
Yeah.
So, Michal, explain what is your project on this IS-2.
So this is 1944 IS-2, which we fully restored.
Okay.
Very interesting vehicle. You can see how rough it was finished. A lot of rust. This vehicle got a lot of impacts, which you can, for example, see here. We welded it, repaired to make it fully functional. The vehicle is in Polish markings. Polish soldiers used heavy tanks during the Second World War.
Wow.
Polish markings, number 420. By the way, you can see a lot of impacts of probably shrapnel. So this vehicle wears a lot of history on it. A lot of oil. So this engine can burn 10% oil to the fuel. So
Whoa.
like 1/10 of the fuel can be the oil, engine oil. So it's the emissions are
huge,
crazy. Crazy. What about the back? Very interesting thing. There is a button with which the soldiers could communicate with the tank driver. So there is a signal inside, and they could communicate that they are in the back of the vehicle. So something which is new, not was new. The American vehicles had the phone.
Okay.
This one has the simple button, different noise of the horn, and they could communicate.
It's a really beautiful restoration from Panzer Farm.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We worked long on the vehicle, so like more than 5 years.
Okay.
But it's fully functional. Only 2 driving Joseph Stalin in Poland. Not much more in the world. So we are very happy to have this in our collection.
Thank you, Michel.
Thank you.
What's this?
Romain, it's wrong tree.
No, Michel, it's good.
No, I have better one for you.
Really?
Come on.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's also green and much better.
But not the same?
No, not the same.
Okay.
Come on. That's our tree, yeah?
Okay. But it looks like a T-55.
No, it's our tree, but has really big engine inside.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's ask our volunteers to help to make to put the lights on our tree. Yeah?
Okay, cool. But can I see the engine before?
Oh, you can hear. Be careful.
Okay. Okay.
It's a tree with my engine! What's this?
Okay, it's a tree for sure. Wow.
Hey.
Okay. Ah, yes, of course. I try to put it on the gun. The red light. What do you think about that? Yeah, like that. Is that? And not?
Tutaj, to tak.
Good.
So, for the end, let's go.
Okay. Okay. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. It seems like a real tree, eh? Better than yours.
For sure, for sure. Thank you, my friend, for the
Thank
tree.
you.
Okay, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Panzer Farm.
And a huge thank you to Roman there. What a great video. And of course, don't forget to check out his YouTube channel, militarymachine.fr, for more content from Roman. Now, the IS-2, Nick, what a vehicle.
It is incredible, isn't it? It looks fantastic. And now I have to say, if there was any tank that the Tank Museum would like for Christmas, it would probably be that IS-2. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. You know, we've got T-34s, we've got KV-1s, but the JS2, or the IS-2, sorry, is something which is a big gap in the Tank Museum's collection. So maybe, this is the right time to ask World of Tanks if they'd be happy to maybe buy us one for Christmas.
Okay.
And no comment. That's our Santa.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember last year, we had a lot of fun going through the ration packs, especially with the macaroni made of elbows, apparently, which is
it's called elbow macaroni.
It's one of our most viewed clips from here on out, apparently, thank you for that. And so we wanted to kind of have a decision on that. We decided French ration packs were one of the best. And so we wanted to see how the French apparently cook their ration packs when they're in the field.
Hi everyone, it's Rom from Military Machine. In France, I hope you enjoy the Christmas season. I'm now on a Leclerc tank, but it's not the subject today. We will talk about the Christmas ration box. This one is a special box of the French army. It corresponds to a single meat. And we were able to obtain it by le service du commissariat des armées. They are the one who take care of making all of the military rations from kitchen to delivery in the regiment of the French army and are given during training and during XT operation. So I can't wait. Let's go. In front of a Leclerc tank we will do an unboxing and after we're going to cook it on the Leclerc tank directly. So, okay. Incredible. We can find there some starters.
Crème de saumon, des mini sablés, on a de la tapenade. Ensuite, en plat, on retrouve, donc c'est un menu gambas, donc on retrouve les fameuses gambas, un cocktail orange 40 citron, en dessert sablé cacao, du café,
and because we are French,
du Château Lorette.
So, come on, let's go. We will go to the back of the tank with a mess kit. So, the engine is hot, I need to be careful. To start, I'm going to heat up the mess tin. It goes pretty fast. The engine is up to 650 degrees.
Allez, c'est parti. Hop. Tac.
So, it's look nice. Let's go. We are preparing. It's incredible what we do. And we just have to wait now. 2 minutes with the exhaust and it's okay.
C'est incroyable. C'est incroyable, c'est prêt.
We will taste with the shrimps. The taste is good.
C'est super bon même. C'est incroyable.
Now I'm going to take some wine. It's still Christmas. And for the end, we will take the coffee. And there, it heats up by itself.
Voilà.
I wait for 30 seconds. I have the mess kit.
Hop. C'est magique. Voilà.
So, Merry Christmas and Tankmas.
Thanks again to Romain. Two things there really stick out for me in that video. Firstly, I've never seen food heated on the exhaust levers before. Perhaps that's the advantage of a gas turbine engine, I don't know. And secondly, a Christmas ration pack. Now, it's been a fair few years since I left the British Army, but I certainly don't recall a special ration pack for Christmas.
Missed out.
Well, I mean, you didn't cook. You couldn't have cooked your rations over the engine either. It would have been a very carbon sort of rich experience.
Not nice,
really.
Yeah.
But you did, of course, have the famous boiling vessel. So I guess that means what was Christmas dinner in a tank? A pot noodle? Did they do a turkey flavoured pot noodle?
No, I don't think there was a turkey. You're so funny, Nick. Yeah, no, there was nothing special. The British Army rations over Christmas at all. Let's leave it at that.
And so, sorry, it's really cold right now. So next up, we want to have a quick hello and Christmas greetings from our friends at the French Foreign Legion with their Jaguar tank. Hello and welcome back. So I'm going to go through this quick segment now of introducing our Holiday Ups garage and also going through some of the drops. Now, don't forget, after 90 minutes of the drops, you do have some large consumables going on, as well as a chance of the FV4005 Thunderchild style. You do have a chance of a TOG 2. If you stick around until the end of the stream, which I suggest you strongly do, you have a chance of 1 day of premium or a large box, a first time, or an SU130 PM. Now, don't forget, we are doing some giveaways in the chat as well. So as long as Twitch chat behaves, we will be giving away large boxes. There is the Gleam link also going on where you will be able to win some prizes, one of which has already been announced with the Tankfest unlimited tickets. I think I've said that right for next year. And we will be giving away some VIP bonus codes throughout the stream. I can't announce those just yet. They're going to be in one of the Christmas boxes over there. So I believe we should be able to have a quick look into the garage that's on my laptop, which is providing all the heat for me right now. As promised, here is my tortoise tank that I said will be going on. Our Holiday Ups garage is pretty busy, as you can tell. You get to decorate in all weird and wonderful ways. You get to customize quite a lot. We have an advent calendar you can take part in. You've got a nice Christmas tree. You've got, of course, one of our nice celebrities with Jason Statham sticking around. You get, as you can see, you've got a pet dog that you can have some good times with, some missions. Here's Mr. Statham himself, who can give you some nice challenges. See? He's telling me I've got this, give me a good round of applause. You've got a cat, you've got a dog, you've got some giveaways to take part in. You can claim some various prizes, lots of freebies going on in game. So as you can tell, an absolute shed load, as we would say. Apologise for those non-British watching the stream. An absolute shed load to do in the game. Of course, one of the biggest parts of this event is our large boxes. These are the things that we're going to be giving out in the chat. So all you've got to do is be good. Make sure that you are, when you receive them, you will get this nice cool little video and animation. And you will then see this cool video. You'll then go into your garage, which I can't skip just yet, but it's a nice little visual. When you open these, you do have a variety of options. When you do so, you can receive a standard amount of gold, always getting some extra on top of it. You'll have some resources that you can use to decorate your garage, as I mentioned, level things up, get a couple of missions, some days of premium. You will then also have a chance of earning some various other items with larger amounts of it. You can earn yourself some premium tanks, some credits that spend on the game. Again, all of these things are very helpful for progressing through the game. I know a lot of our players love this time of year because it's always nice to open up some presents that either you buy for yourself or you buy for your friends, or somebody may be really, really generous and purchase for you. So as you can tell, lots going on. I tried to click exit there so I can show you one of the other things that we just released yesterday that you can have a lot of fun going on. Let me just go back to my garage very quickly. Thank you very much. One of the things that we launched just yesterday is a new game mode, what we're going to call the Winter Raid. Now, the Winter Raid is a new style, a new look, a new aesthetic, a new style of gameplay that we haven't really done before, so you should definitely go check it out if you can. Platoon and play with your friends, have some fun doing some missions, and really having a good go of it. There should be a video coming up very, very shortly if you want to stick around just a couple more seconds with my yabbering, and then you'll be able to check out how you can play it, what you can do, and what it's all about.
Winter is in full swing, and Jason Statham is pleased to present you a special surprise.
Hello, mate.
Meet the Winter Raid. This year, a mysterious van has appeared in your snow village, having traveled through countless lands and eras, until it found its way into your garage. Inside is a board game whose entire world is masterfully crafted out of paper. Even the tanks. Wait, what? They're coming to life. Step into a winter wonderland and gear up for epic holiday adventures. The rules are simple, but there are a few surprises. 3 teams compete in battle, and the first team to collect 50 presents at their base wins. But even delivered boxes aren't safe. You can steal them from enemies, but once they're at your team's base, you'll also need to defend them. Just remember, your vehicle being destroyed is a gift for your opponent, literally. Don't worry though, because you have unlimited respawns. In just 15 seconds, a new vehicle is created from a simple piece of paper. Presents appear in the center of the map, under the Christmas tree. You can collect them here. or take them by force. But be careful, as the battle reaches its climax, a snowstorm is approaching. If things don't go quite as planned, use patch tape for a quick fix. All 3 origami vehicles have it, and that's not all their holiday magic. The heavy assault charges into battle on rocket boosters, slows enemies with a snowstorm of its own, and even becomes invincible, but not for long, and at the cost of HP. The medium support fires rapidly with its autocannon, heals allies, and places turrets, making it ideal for team support and defending the base from enemy carrier raids. By the way, where is it? Oh, that's right, it's invisible. Light Carrier becomes a Christmas ghost, with shot fired while it's not visible hitting harder. It can also create a zone that marks rivals as prime targets, increasing damage against them. Overall, this little rascal is a pro at stealing presents. Teams will be balanced by tank type. Try the Winter Raid with friends to unlock these machines' full potential. You can play Winter Raid over 3 launches, each lasting 4 days from Friday through Monday. At the start of each launch, one of 3 progression chapters opens. Each will be available until the very end of the event. If you don't manage to complete a chapter within the 4 days of the mode launch, no big deal. You can advance through the progression in random battles from the start of the event until January 13th. To complete the progression, you'll need gift coins. And Winter Raid is the place you can earn the most of them. Don't hesitate to exchange them for great rewards. This way, you can maximize your credits, bonds, free XP, and even unlock some new surprises, including event-exclusive new 3D attachments from the Mystic set to add a touch of holiday magic to your vehicles. The raid is almost upon us. Dive in for exciting battles, festive fun, and amazing gifts.
And welcome back. I'm David again. I'm sorry, I'm just waiting for the camera to click back on. So it's come to that part of the stream where I said that we're going to have a nice giveaway segment going on. And I'm not exactly certain what's going to be in this box. I'm going to have a quick open up and see what's inside of there. So all you've got to do is go to the Gleam link, and then you'll have various links that you can follow, visit, pages that you can basically do activities on. It tells you what you need to do. Once you've done this, it will then pull randomly from people in the list. So I'll be doing this once I'm off the camera. And then from those people, we're going to make sure that your details are correct, your name, your address, everything like that, so we can ship these items towards you. You have a small amount of time to be able to claim those things. If you don't, then we will need to re-roll them. So there's a heads up. So let's very quickly see if I can do this without getting a balloon in the face this time, while I hide this box. So bow without breaking. I think we shall break the bow. An endless bow. Okay, I feel like somebody was having a nice festive joke on me. Let's put that back on the tortoise. So now I'm expecting some more balloons to the face. Let's see what's going on. See, what more could you want, chat? There you go. So now we have some festive balloons. I'm sure all of you will love these. Maybe if people are very nice, we will be able to give some away for the audience. And so, what we have are 2 special edition Tank Museum Monopoly game sets. Now, I do know that I've just had a round of applause coming from my right-hand side. He's very happy for this, because don't forget you can purchase these from the Tank Museum store. Even bigger round of applause just came from there. So can you tell me, how do you like your festive board games?
It's Christmas, isn't it? You've got to have a game of Monopoly. Although I have to say, Monopoly is perhaps one of those games that can lead to a little bit of tension.
Yeah, I'd love to say, and I'll be completely honest, that Monopoly in our house is not well received by my youngish girls. So, yeah, but...
Why is that?
It's just, they just... Monopoly isn't that a terrible thing to say, really.
Imagine you're a hard player.
I am terrible.
Make them pay all their fines.
Yeah. And they tend to cheat as well, which is not great.
You see? Brings people together at Christmas, am I right?
Yeah.
How nice. Well, what's next? It's the singers, isn't it?
We can time to. We've gone off scripted completely, as you could possibly imagine. So I believe it's for the last time this evening. We're going to see them off. Big round of applause for you at home as well. Us in the studio here. Please welcome, for the last time this evening, the Satin Dolls.
Thank you so much for having us. We've had an amazing time here, and we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Well, that's completely not.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding and bring some right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring some right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Woo, woo, woo.
Great stuff.
A massive thank you to the Satin Dolls there. Now, back in July, I actually got the opportunity to attend a keynote tank weekend, which is the Canadian Tank Museum in Oshawa in Ontario. And here's a very quick recap of what it was all about.
Well, that looks like another fantastic tank event over in Canada. I've never been to the Canadian Tank Museum before. Richard, tell us all about it.
First time for me as well. Absolutely loved it. Really great show. Very dynamic. Lots of vehicle movement. Very, very interesting. And I think the highlight for me, to be perfectly honest, was meeting all these incredible people there, and some of whom we've actually got as part of the live stream later on, has supplied their videos. Saying that, of course, here we go, another video, and this is from the Canadian Tank Museum.
Greetings from the Canadian Tank Museum in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Every tank museum in the world every armored regiment, and every wargamer wants to fill that empty garage slot with something new this Christmas. Let me show you what we have under the Christmas tree. So after a lot of hard work here in the MVCC, the M1917 is now here in the Canadian Tank Museum and on display for winter. We're going to leave it here where we can tell the story of the First World War and Canada leading into the Second World War, because that's where this vehicle comes into play in Canadian military history. There are only 20 remaining in the world, only 3 in Canada. This particular one is the most complete one in the country, with its engine and all of its systems still intact. So the M1917, it's actually a French design, the Renault FT, or some people say FT-17, a revolutionary design by the French in the First World War. This was to be an infantry support vehicle and also a breakthrough vehicle, a little bit faster than the larger French and British tanks that would be supporting the infantry in a breakthrough. It's a 2-man crew. They licensed this to the United States to be built. The French did not have the industrial capacity when the U.S. joined the war in 1917, so they actually licensed the Renault FT to be built in the United States. 3 different companies were contracted in building it, and the Americans made some slight adjustments. First, the large idler wheel at the front, it's actually steel, whereas the French Renault would be a wooden wheel with a steel around it. They added additional viewing slits here for the driver, the operator of the vehicle, and also their turret. The turret, you can see, is not a cast piece. It's an octagonal turret with additional armor on the front. Coming around to the sides of the vehicle, the other thing that really distinguishes it from the French Renault is that the muffler is on the left side of the hull instead of on the right side of the hull. And the American-built tanks will have these 2 lifting points, because just like in the Second World War, these were being produced here in North America and would have to be lifted onto ships and shipped overseas. Here you have it, the M1917, the first Great War or First World War tank that we have here at the Canadian Tank Museum, one of the most exciting and important acquisitions that we have ever made, now on display through the winter period. From the members of the Canadian Tank Museum, we'd like to wish our friends all around the world a very safe and happy holiday season. Merry Christmas!
And a massive thank you to the Canadian Tank Museum. What an absolute fantastic bunch of people down there. Now, as I mentioned before, Aquino Tank Weekend was great. I met some incredible people there. And 2 that really stick in my mind, Lottie and Peter, 2 restoration specialists with absolute vast wealth of knowledge. And I won't say any more until after this video.
G'day from Australia.
Oh, bugger.
Oh.
There we go.
Right.
Let's try that one again.
Yeah. G'day from Australia again.
G'day from Australia. I'm Lottie.
And I'm Peter from Tankside Assist.
The lovely folks over at Wargaming asked us to make this wonderful little video to help spread some love to all of us here in the Southern Hemisphere. So here we are.
Between the 2 of us, we have 17 years of experience working on tanks around Australia and around the world.
Normally, we work behind the scenes, but this year we've made an effort to spread our experience online through YouTube. You can go see that over at Lottie the Tank Whisperer.
2024 has been a fantastic year for our restorations. We've rounded off our latest Centurion projects, rebuilding not 1, but 2 Merlin Meteors from the ground up. Listen to them purr.
I also got stuck into the old girl's turret and gunnery systems, ensuring it runs both a full infrared optics suite and complete gun stabilization. We had quite a bit of fun, to say the least.
This is already hot on our heels of our previous restorations in our newest workshop here in sunny Queensland. We hit the ground running, having already completed many projects in only a short few months.
These include a 25-pounder limber gun combination, an M3A1 White Scout car, Mark II ferret, enough trucks and jeeps to poke a stick at, and a sea mine, because why not?
We even had enough time to visit many of our newest friends in Asia, and of course Canada for Equino 2024. A big shout out to the lovely team at the Canadian Tank Museum.
2025 will be even bigger. Not only do we have an absolute smorgasbord of unique restorations coming, including a 105 howitzer, but we have been working closely with our international friends about some very interesting work. Stay tuned for that.
Obviously, we have much more going on, but we'll keep it as brief as Wargaming has asked us a few little questions to follow up with. So Wargaming has asked us, what tank would you like for Christmas, Lottie?
Well, of all the reasonable options, I would probably go for a Valentine. It's all of the fun, adventurous nature of a Centurion in a much more small, manageable package. And I think it'll look good in our workshop. What about you, Peter?
Well, I'll stick to my Leopard 1 and that. I grew up with them in the army and they're fast, reliable, quiet, a lot of great fun and easy to work on as well. On that note, unfortunately, we've run out of time, Lottie.
Well, that was a fun little video, just explaining what we are and what we do. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. From Australia, bye.
Bye.
Wow, what interesting people. I've not come across that YouTube channel before, Richard.
Yeah, please check out Lottie the Tank Whisperer. Absolutely fantastic. She's just starting off her journey in the world of YouTube, so it'd be great to get some support for them. I'm quite surprised seeing the Centurion there. Actually, you didn't mention, again, it was it the first tank you ever served on, but I'm glad you didn't.
We have one behind us, though, appropriately displayed behind Richard. The Centurion is probably the best British tank ever, isn't it?
Probably, absolutely.
80 years old next year as well. 80 years old. Well, hopefully those guys could make it to Tankfest next year, because I think it'd be great to say hello to them. And next, I think we've got a video from World of Tanks North America.
All the tankers, I'm Commander AF. Hope you guys are enjoying the Tankmas stream.
Greetings all. Yes, you have us in the middle of decorating the office Christmas cactus. A very Texas thing to do, I guess.
Here in the Austin
anyway,
office, but wait a second.
Yeah?
Wait a second.
What is it?
Why is there a ship on the World of Tanks
Big great floaty thing? Well, as you know, everything on this cactus represents something that has happened over the last year. And for D-Day, the live stream, I went up to an LST in Indiana and we did a film on the tank landing ship. Now, I couldn't find an LST, this was LPD, but San Antonio class, and I live in San Antonio, I figure it's good enough. Well, what are you going to put up next?
Well, we already have some stuff representing our friends in LATAM. We've got the Dia de los Muertos, Mexican independence, and now I want to talk a little bit about what we did in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo.
A place in Brazil.
A place in Brazil, where they had the first ever Latin American Gamescom.
Did you
and
go?
World of Tanks was in attendance. I did not go. We did not go. But our awesome pals on the LATAM team were there. Shout out to Matt and Federico. So I'm going to put this one on there to represent our first time attending the first ever LATAM Gamescom. We had a huge booth. Lots of ways to play, contests to enter, challenges, bonus codes, and a lot of activations. A lot of folks signed up.
I need to find a little spot here for the cav hat. Obviously, I get the cav hat. And it's not just because I have just taken over command of a cavalry squadron, which is a crowning achievement. That's not very World of Tanks-ish.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But more to the point, we also did a little bit of a salute refresh. So World of Tanks Salute, of course, is our military appreciation program for Canadian or US servicemen. So if you haven't checked into it, we've changed some of the rewards a little bit. You get an extra tank now, and we've also been doing some work with veterans organizations.
Well, and another cool event that we both attended this summer was a Kino Tank Weekend up at the Canadian Tank Museum, formerly known as the Ontario Regiment Museum. We got to hang out with a lot of really cool folks.
We always have a lot of fun up there. We always do.
So much fun with the crew at the museum.
And the live stream is still up. If you missed it, you can probably go and find it.
We have interviews with Maximus, Cone of Arc, the Funker 360 crew, and
530.
530. The Funker 530
Lottie,
crew.
the tank whisperer,
The
came up all the way from Australia.
A lot of people came from far, far away. So I'm going to honor a keynote tank weekend with a maple leaf. You know what I was honored with while we were there? The acknowledgement that I am now a lifelong
member of the museum.
Yeah.
You got the hat and the badge and all.
Yep, I got it all. It was a big surprise.
Everything on here represents something, so let's see if we can figure out what each ornament represents.
Yeah, and then you'll get imaginary points.
And that's all you're getting out of us. We're skinflints here in Texas. All right, at this point, we are going to kick this back to the lads in Bovington. But in the meantime, at home, if you want to play, see if you can determine what each event is from the last year that is represented by ornaments.
There's even a little talk to me goose there.
What's that? Okay, you're giving that one away.
Yeah, I'm giving them away, but imaginary points.
If you had an ornithologist watching, they could look at it and they could figure out, this is a Canadian goose.
Well, that is all that we have time for. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the Tankmas stream, and of course, enjoy holiday ops.
Or, as the ornament says, Merry Christmas, y'all.
And thank you, and a very Merry Christmas to Commander AF and the Chieftain, of course. Now, a cactus Christmas tree, that's the first for me, I have to say.
I don't think it'd last long in this climate, would it?
And we're heading over to Texas, and we're going to catch up with all the folks that drive tanks.
Hello, everyone, and first of all, Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays from the Drive Tanks crew out to everybody. So here at DriveTanks.com, we kind of took the Living History Museum term to a whole new level. We're up to 18 tanks in total, 7 artillery pieces, 60 plus machine guns, and it all works. So we actually let people come out and drive the tanks, shoot the artillery, the machine guns. So, but looking back on 2024 as a whole, it's been a very busy year so far. We had a solar eclipse. MIT booked out the entire ranch and did some stuff with us. And there's several other things that we did that I can't discuss because of NDAs, but it's been a heck of a year. I feel like it wasn't too long ago making video for last year's World of Tanks Christmas stream. Some of the bigger projects I can talk about is we're still working on the Soviet 37mm anti-aircraft gun. We acquired a American M56 Scorpion that has a 90mm anti-tank gun on it, and here recently we acquired a Soviet IS-3 that is in running condition, and hopefully we, through other contacts, will be able to make the main gun live on her as well. So we're kind of excited to get all these new vehicles up and running and shooting, as it's always fun working on these things and getting them up and shooting and sending that projectile downrange for the first time. As for our big 2025 wish list item is actually going to be a tank. It's we're ready to have one of our Leopard 1 main guns live, and we're very close to actually making that a reality. So it's getting that 105mm main gun actually shooting projectiles will be huge. It'll be an absolute monster of a gun. And as long as everything goes well, we'll probably have her up and running before the end of 2025. So, but thank you everyone for your time. Thank you to the Tank Museum and Wargaming and World of Tanks for allowing us to be part of this Christmas live stream. And once again, happy holidays and a Merry Christmas to everybody, and also Happy New Year. Thanks again.
So, drive tanks in Texas, Richard. You've actually been there. So, when did you go? What did you get up to? What was it like?
It was a fair few years ago now. It is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I once heard it described as Disneyland for tank fans, tank fanatics. It's quite incredible. I mean, let's face it.
Makes it sound very wholesome when you say it that way.
It does, yes. But let's face it, where else in the world really could you live fire, a World War II tank?
Ah, America, what a country. What a great country, eh? So we're going to be staying in the US now. We've got 2 more fantastic USA-based military museums to look at in our next videos.
Hi there. Welcome to the American Heritage Museum. My name's Andrew. Let me show you around. A visit to the American Heritage Museum will take you on a trip through history. You start your journey in our theaters, learning about the Revolutionary War that granted the United States its independence and the Civil War that would divide the nation in two. From there, we head to the trenches of northern France during the Battle of Saint-Mihiel, the first American-led offensive of the First World War. And we take a look at the events that would trigger the Second World War. Where you go from there is entirely up to you. You can even visit two of the actual cells from the Hanoi Hilton, a notorious prisoner of war camp in Vietnam, and hear testimonies from survivors. You can also see one-of-a-kind artifacts, like Colonel John Riley Kane's Medal of Honor. He was awarded for his actions on August 1st, 1943, bombing the Plosti oil refinery in Romania. The only Soviet IS-2 on display in North America. The only known Japanese Type 4 Horo left in the world. As well as the only remaining Curtiss P-40B Tomahawk in the world, which also happens to be the last remaining military aircraft that was present for the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. I think that's pretty cool. And did I mention that you can ride or drive in one of our original World War II era tanks? This year, we are proud to have unveiled our original German rail car as part of our growing Holocaust collection. This serves as a solemn reminder of the horrors that took place under Nazi Germany's rule in the 1930s and 40s. We've also put our F-105G Thunder Chief on display this year. This aircraft served as a wild weasel during both Operation Linebacker 1 and 2, dodging surface-to-air missiles over the jungles of Vietnam. In addition to the staple events on our calendar for the upcoming year, like our tank demonstration weekends, our American Elegance Antique Car Show, and our very popular Battle for the Airfield event, we're also proud to announce that our Battle of Saipan event will be making a return this July. During all of these events, we'll be opening our aircraft hangar and our antique car barn, allowing you to view over 15 more aircraft, over 20 race cars spanning from the 1930s and 40s all the way up to the 1990s, as well as our antique automobile collection with beautifully restored cars spanning from the early to mid-20th century. But keep in mind, you can only see these two annex buildings and the vehicles they house on special event weekends, so mark your calendars. We want to thank everybody over at World of Tanks in Bovington for having us on this year. From all of us here at the American Heritage Museum, we wish you all a very happy holiday season and a very happy New Year.
Hello and Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Museum of the American GI in College Station, Texas. The Museum of the American GI has been open for 10 years this month. We have an outstanding collection of military vehicles, uniforms, aircraft, armored cars, artillery, and soon to be our DC-3 plane that's going to be out in front of the museum. Plan on visiting us March 22nd and 23rd, 2025 for our annual Living History event. We'll have Vietnam, World War II, World War I reenactments. We'll have a flamethrower demonstration. We'll have M1 Garand shooting. All sorts of things that'd be fun for kids and for military historians alike. Our Christmas wish for this year is to have our Douglas C-53 Sky Trooper plane restored and sitting in the front of the museum by this time next year. Any help that you could provide would be very helpful and appreciated.
Welcome back and hello. After managing to wrestle the Christmas pudding off of the hamsters in my laptop, I've been able to pull some winners for the Monopoly game from the Tank Museum. So the first one is Warrior. I do apologize if I've said that very, very horribly wrong. So Warrior would be the first winner. The second being Geoxor. Geoxor is a second winner of the Tank Museum Monopoly set, which of course you can buy from the Tank Museum store. I have to say this. Vilska_gamer. Congratulations to the third winner of the Monopoly game mode. We have for the fourth Syriot Ryan. I tried to write down the very first name that I had. Unfortunately, it was about 50 letters long. And then the last winner for the Monopoly game mode is JK Logs. So congratulations to JK Logs. You are on Santa's nice list. That is to go along with Power Defy, the Steel Impala, Yavariel, Luke Mark D, and Katru, who won the RC tanks earlier. Now, this is the next giveaway, which I have a very nice colleague to help me open this wonderful box, which I'm sure is going to go perfectly this time.
It's a perfectly sized box, isn't
yes.
it?
Would you like the bow? The very special
maybe we
decorative bow.
We can find a use for that. I'll put that carefully aside.
Now, I know this has been a long time coming, and of course the balloon is not coming out, but I may recognise the individual on this balloon.
Wow.
And I just heard
absolutely
Cutland die inside from across
horrific.
the room. So yeah, would you like to tell us a little bit about what this is about?
Don't worry, folks, we're not giving away the balloon. That is going to be safely disposed of as soon as we finish the live stream. I have to read this out, so bear with me a second. We're giving away 4 pairs of tickets to Tankfest Unlimited on either the Saturday or the Sunday of Tankfest, whichever the winner prefers. Now, these tickets include free admission to Tankfest, unlimited food and drink, fast-track admission, premium parking, and a Tankfest goodie bag. So these are really, really, really good tickets. Now, you do have to sort out your own travel and accommodation, and sadly, the tickets are non-transferable. So please only enter this one if you are able to make it down to Dorset for Tankfest weekend.
I'm becoming intimidated as the balloon keeps trying to face me instead of the camera. I'm not happy about this balloon keeps staring at me. So the terms and conditions are available on the Gleam link. We will reach out to you. You do have to claim them. Please make sure that you follow the instructions. There'll be a very limited time window that you can claim them. Then you will have a limited time window to reply. Thank you, Nick. As you can tell, he's very happy with this balloon. This is the one he's taking home for Christmas. It's the best gift he's ever had.
My family will be very proud of it.
Now we're going to be popping back to France with a rather special museum available in Paris.
Welcome to Paris, in the La Défense district, near the Grand Arche de la Défense. I am Madeleine, and I am about to introduce you to la Cité de l'Histoire, a unique 6,000 square meter space entirely dedicated to history, where you can enjoy immersive experiences. At la Cité de l'Histoire, we offer 3 main immersive attractions. A captivating tour, where actors and ultra-realistic sets will plunge you into the great moment of French history, tracing 12 centuries through 17 rooms. An interactive timeline with around 400 key dates in the history of mankind, which you can explore at your own pace and find out more about thanks to interactive quizzes. The 360 degrees ellipse, an impressive immersive experience whose theme changes every 6 to 7 months, guaranteeing you a fresh discovery on every visit. In addition to these flagship attractions, there are many other activities to enhance your visit. They vary according to theme, with exhibitions dedicated to different historical periods, spectacular models made from Lego and Kobe bricks, live shows and themed interactive rooms. In 2024, 2 exciting themes have been highlighted: the Musketeers and the Normandy landings. For the latter, we collaborated with World of Tanks to design an exhibition dedicated to the emblematic tanks of that period. This partnership also extended to our YouTube channel dedicated to historical content, La Cité de l'Histoire. We invite you to take a look. On our Christmas wishlist, we're picking the Bretagne Panther, some of which were captured by the French armed forces during the Battle of Normandy in 1944 and used against the German army. It will make a great impression in our room dedicated to a resistant assault in our immersive experience. In 2025, get ready to plunge into an eagerly awaited new theme, the Roman Empire. This major new feature, which will be unveiled at the end of December 2024, will take you right to the heart of one of history's most fascinating eras. Plenty of surprises await you at La Cité de l'Histoire. So come and visit us at 1 Parvis de la Défense in Puteaux and don't miss this epic adventure.
What a fantastic museum. I have to say, Nick, never been. Really is on my must-go places. They had me at live and interactive experience. I really look forward to that.
Yeah, look great. I mean, one of no doubt a number of fantastic museums over in Paris. Now, moving on. This summer, you may have seen a viral video circulating all over social media featuring an absolutely ingenious way to play World of Tanks. So yeah, you probably saw that video. It was going around the summer, wasn't it? This incredible. Well, basically they've turned World of Tanks into a live tank simulator. Absolutely incredible.
It is the ultimate gaming station, isn't it? Absolutely incredible and mahoosive as well.
I mean, the level of ingenuity that's gone into creating that is just, is kind of way over the top.
I'd really like to know what happened at the end, though, where he fell over. I hope he's all right. And,
maximum realism there. Do you think we'd ever be able to get those guys over and maybe demonstrate at Tankfest?
I was just thinking, wouldn't that be absolutely fantastic to have a simulator like that down here at the
I
Tank
bet
Museum?
everybody watching would love to have a go on that. I know I would. That just looks great.
What about talking, we maybe could retrofit 131 to a gaming stations inside, do you think the team would go for that?
That might be a bit of a stretch, but there'd be plenty of room in the tortoise, to be honest with you. Plenty of room in there.
Okay, sorry, I managed to sneak into this studio just in time, I think, towards the end of there. I haven't been able to stick these on the board. As you saw, we just about ran out of time. But we have managed to pick out some winners for the Tankfest tickets.
Dum, dum, dum.
Dum, dum, dum. I'm not going to stick them on the board yet because we do need to reach out to you. We do need to make sure that you reply and verify that you would like to attend. If you don't, if you cannot, please, please, please reach out to the email address that's in the terms and conditions. Let the museum know that you will not or cannot attend, and then we can re-roll the giveaway winner and make sure it goes to somebody else who can come to and enjoy Tankfest.
We could send the balloon as a consolation prize, maybe.
I'm sure we can send a bonus code, a tank or something, or the balloon that you are definitely taking home and putting on the top of your Christmas tree this December. So the first one is Carly Trox 007. Carly Trox 007. We have Tombok 78. Which is the second winner. There is Sire Morty, who won the third set of tickets. And then the next one is Cyrus the Virus 70.
What a cracking name.
Yes, and so we need to make sure that you actually want these tickets, that you will be joining and taking part in Tankfest next year. Please reach out if you cannot, or if you can, of course, claim it. It is for a pair of tickets for Tanklist Unlimited. And I know Nick shared exactly what all that involves and all the cool things that are possible to you if you do get it. But if you don't remember, you can go to the Tank Museum website and it's all there for you.
And we've still got some more prizes to come, haven't we?
We have. So I'm then going to go disappear again and wrestle more Christmas pudding out of the hamsters on my laptop and be giving away some bonus codes into the chat as long as you're active, as well as pulling winners for the Gleam link. I will be giving away boxes, especially to the Twitch chat, as well as possibly to the museum chat if I can manage to get my laptop to keep working.
Excellent. Well, whilst David is kicking 7 bales out of his laptop, we're going to go across to our friends at the War Heritage Institute in Belgium for another contributor video.
Hello everyone, welcome to our Christmas video. We are Robbie and Ben from the War Heritage Institute, and today we'll look back at 2024 and see a few highlights and happenings. This year we celebrated the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Belgium, and it started in France in 1944, and of course many Belgians were involved, as for instance with the Brigade Piron, or 1st Belgian Brigade. We participated in many commemorations in Normandy and Belgium, where this brigade saw action to remember the brave soldiers that fought for our country. Along the way, we met some of the surviving veterans and engaged with the public of these liberated communes, making it a very meaningful event for everyone.
Besides the Liberation Road, we also participated in events such as Tanks in Town and the Zomeroffensief at Soesterberg. Unfortunately, our IS-3 did not make it to Tankfest this year, but we are happy to announce that its clutch problem is fixed and the tank is back in working order. In Brussels, we continued to research on our French Renault FT tank together with Pierre Clavel, an expert linked to the Saumur Tank Museum. Piece by piece, this little French tank started to reveal its secrets, and it turns out it wasn't even a French tank to begin with. This Renault FT served in Poland after World War I, up until the 30s, when it was used as part of an armored train during the Battle for Poland. Then it was captured by the Germans and used as a Beutepanzer. After the war, it returned safely to French hands, until it eventually came to our museum in the 90s. The results of our research were presented at this year's ICOMM conference and were also published in its magazine and in our Tank Museum news.
This weekend we have our traditional Nuts Weekend. This year we have a special gift for our visitor, the Tiger II of the Musée des Blindés de Saumur. With this vehicle and other big vehicle, by example our IS-3, we will give some dynamic demonstration at the public.
Another interesting novelty will be the publication of a new book about our tank collection by my colleague Ben Schaveres. This book covers both the development of mechanized warfare from 1915 till 1945 and the history and particularities of our specific collection of armored vehicles.
For 2025, we have interesting projects coming up.
If you don't want to miss out on our latest announcements, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook and X. Those who already follow us maybe noticed that last October we posted about a newly restored Sherman Firefly leaving the Bastogne barracks for Saumur as part of an exchange deal. But for what vehicle in return, please follow us and find out.
We'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year from the War Heritage Institute.
That's another great video from a museum I've yet to visit. My to-do list is getting longer and longer here. And actually, I don't know if you noticed, but what was particularly stand out for me in that video was the fine examples of knitwear that both the presenters were wearing. We had the Tank Museum's 2024 Christmas jumper on the one side, still available now from our online shop. Come on, we're a charity. And on the right-hand side was the Tank Museum, V-neck tank top, which I'm pretty sure you'd be able to pull that off.
I could pull that off well, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this weekend over in Bastogne is the annual Nuts Weekend event. It's a big event that involves a lot of the military vehicle community over in Europe. And at that gathering is going to be a number of special guests. I believe Saumur are bringing their King Tiger to it. And our own Chris van Schaardenberg, head of collections, is going to be out there as well. So if you see him, do say hello.
And also, of course, this winter is a very important anniversary. It's the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. And we're now going to go back to our friends at the War Heritage Institute to hear a lot more about it.
Hello everyone, we are here today at Bastogne Barracks, the World War II Vehicle Center of the Belgian War Heritage Institute. This year marks a special anniversary for our museum because it is the 80th anniversary of one of the largest battles of World War II, the Battle of the Bulge or the Ardennes Offensive. The city of Bastogne, where we are here today, holds a special place in this commemoration because it has become a symbol of Allied resistance during the battle. Outgunned and outnumbered, the encircled town manages to hold out against a German advance. In this short video, we will illustrate the historical importance of this location and how we try to keep the memory of the battle alive with our collection and commemorate all brave soldiers that fought here.
So, we are here at the entrance of the old Bastogne Barracks. It was built in the 30s to house the Chasseurs Ardennais, so it's a special unit dedicated to the defense of Belgium. And the Chasseurs Ardennais had the tank destroyers T-13, which were good tank destroyers that had a 47 millimeters gun, which performed quite well against the Panzers. In 1940, during the German occupation, the base was a training center for the Hitlerjugend. And after the liberation in 1944, it became the headquarters of the 8th US Corps. During the Battle of the Bulge, Bastogne became the place where all the Allied forces established their headquarters, and it is also here that General McAuliffe said his famous reply to the German asking him for surrender, the famous nuts.
When you visit Bastogne, there is no escaping its wartime history. It is everywhere around us. Last year in our Tankmas video, we presented our Panzer IV Ausführung J command tank, which we have in Bastogne Barracks. Here we are in Savy, a little hamlet just 2 kilometers north of Bastogne, where another Panzer IV Ausführung J, with the nickname Lustmolch, I will not translate that name, was destroyed during the Battle of the Bulge by American paratroopers defending Bastogne. This tank, from Kampfgruppe Mauke, Panzerabteilung 115, was destroyed on Christmas Day 44 by American paratroopers defending Bastogne.
So now we're in Foix, a little village near Bastogne, and you can see in this village impacts from the Second World War. For example, here in a house where a sniper was posted, and this sniper was shot down by a member of the Easy Company, Shifty Powers, and you can see that in an episode of the famous series Band of Brothers, and it's the 7th episode called The Breaking Point. The brave defenders of Bastogne make sure that during the siege, not a single tank, German tank, entered the city, but the Germans tried hard with, for instance, heavy tanks like the Tiger II. They were called upon to force a breakthrough. On this location, just south of Bastogne, in Villers-la-Bonneau, the Tiger No. 3 of the Schwere Panzer Abteilung 506 was abandoned and inspected by the GIs.
This year, we were able to see the end result if the Ardennes offensive would have succeeded, when our friends at Semur took their operational King Tiger tank to the city of Antwerp, the capture of which was the final objective of the German advance. This weekend, during our annual Nuts Days, we are very happy to welcome for the first time in history this famous tank in Bastogne.
I am with our original chairman Jimbo. It's not the true first in Bastogne, but it's a tribute for the American tankers. This Jimbo is in running condition. It will give a dynamic demonstration during our Nuts weekend.
It is by preserving and displaying these rare vehicles and organizing commemorations which are still attended by people who experienced the battle that we here in Bastogne try to honor our shared past. We welcome you all to the Ardennes to join us in the various interesting activities and tributes organized this winter and to help us ensure that the history of the battle is not forgotten.
So David's running a little bit behind on his bonus code giveaways.
I think the laptop's getting the better of him. That's what it is.
We need to give him a bit of time to catch up. Bastogne Barracks, have you ever been there, Nick?
No, I haven't. Again, it's another place for that ever-increasing list of places that I really, really need to go. You know, it'd be there's clearly a road trip necessary next year.
And thank you for the guys, and we'll take this opportunity to thank everybody, all the contributors that have taken part in this, because they've really gone out of their way to supply content for this Tankmas live stream. So a huge thank you to them.
And thank you to World of Tanks, of course, for providing us all these museums, not just in the UK, but around Europe and in the USA, a really important platform for us to tell the public what it is we do.
And looking forward to Christmas?
Of course I'm looking forward to Christmas, and I'm looking forward to next year as well. But, for World of Tanks, how has the last year been? Any highlights from 2024 for your perspective?
It's been, obviously, from a personal perspective, Tankfest we always love, absolutely love. It's always a dream to come down here.
What was your Tankfest highlight?
It's got to be the 4005. I have to say, pulling that out of the bag was fantastic. I remember some years ago, the Bretagne Panther that we brought across.
That was great.
That was great as well. But, once again, to Joe for pulling that out of the bag, very short time period, an incredible vehicle to see.
And again, I'm not sure if it was covered in your VT earlier. What is so impressive about the way that project came about is if it hadn't been for the fact that Joe Hughes was a World of Tanks player, he'd never have kind of got the idea to take that vehicle and make it run again. And, so if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have happened. But if it wasn't for World of Tanks, he wouldn't have had the idea to make it happen either. And I think it's really interesting just how important World of Tanks has been to kind of give particularly, younger people a completely different lens with which they look at our collections. The kind of cultural significance that some of the vehicles in our collections have had as a result of World of Tanks is just phenomenal. And I particularly think, about the Tortoise and Tog 2 with regard to that.
Of course, yeah. Vehicles that nobody ever really sort of, heard of, to be perfectly honest, even than those of us that, were in this, military world and everything as well. And I have to say, like Nick said there, it's always, when I left the British Army, went to work for World of Tanks, I was absolutely gobsmacked as, the amount of people that were interested. Obviously it was very different for me. It was a job. It was a job, and we lived and breathed tanks, but that was what we were getting paid for,
Yeah, good stuff. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think David has now finished off his laptop and thrown it in the skip. So I think we'll go over to you, David.
Yep. Hello and welcome back. That's very accurate. I have taken the laptop, thrown it underneath one of the tanks and hoping one of them reverses over it. So I've been able to wrestle a couple of winners for the bonus codes that we've got going on. Just to remind people, so far we have had the winners for the RC tanks, we have had winners for the Tankfest Monopoly game set, as well as 4 pairs of Tankfest Unlimited tickets that will be available in June. Now, I do need to remind people, please make sure you claim everything. I will be making sure that we reach out to everybody on a different machine via their emails to make sure they claim their prize. If they don't want it, we will re-roll them and give it to somebody else. Now, I do have 9 VIP bonus codes going on. The first one I'm going to read out here is going to be for a Type 59, as well as 5,000 gold and 30 days of premium. So we can, if you would like us to, and again, we'll clarify this in email, we can mail these to you if you so choose. But otherwise, we'll just send you the code via the email address. You type it in at worldoftanks.eu or worldoftanks.com, activate the bonus code, and all is well. It will work. You'll get these items. Everything's great. So the first winner is, and I do apologize for some of these names because I was trying to read them off very quickly, is Warbird 3093. Warbird 3093. Congratulations to your Type 59 with your 5,000 gold and your 30 days of premium. Next up, we have Skydiver_crew. Skydiver_crew. Congratulations, you've also won yourself a Type 59 as well as 5,000 gold and 30 days of premium. Next up is, and I don't even know how to say this word, which is Grulas or Grulas1 or Grulash. I'm not sure. It's Grulas1. We've also got your name down on there. We will be reaching out to you via email as well. The next VIP, what we call these VIP because they're very nice, specific artwork, metal, pretty hefty piece of bonus code. They are very limited in terms of the numbers that we print. We very, very rarely hand them out at events. It's to very specific people, of course, VIPs. So this one is going to be for the Tier 8 Premium Caliban, as well as the Type 5 Carry. You have a garage slot for each of those vehicles, an FE4005 Galahad 3D style, and 5,000 gold, and on top of that, as well, you have 30 days of premium time. So this is going to be available for the next 3 winners. Again, email, make sure we know what's going on. The next one is going to be for Lord Chelita Lord Chelita is the next one on there. So that's one here. We have a deck eliminator. A deck eliminator, I'm going to just break it down onto as many words as I can pronounce on here. Some of you have some very funky in-game names, I will say that. You've got 11 row 98. 11 row 98. Please, the next time you enter into a giveaway, can you have easier to both read and write usernames? So once more, that is for an FV4201 as well as a carry. You have 30 days of premium, 5,000 gold, and a Galahad 3D style for the FV4005, which you will remember is a vehicle featured at this year's Tankfest that was restored with Joe Hughes, the Tank Museum, and very many of your contributions and charitable work from the community helping support this. The final bonus code that is available for you is for a... Right one. I've lost the card. Good job, David. There we go. The next one is going to be for the FV4201 prototype with 5,000 gold and 30 days of premium. Okay, that is going to be the FV4201 Chieftain prototype with a garage slot. Now I'm going to juggle all of these cards going on here. The next one is going to be, missing this, Pote. Pote, P-O-T-E. Thank you very much there. We have 11 in a row. We've done that one. We've done that one. We have Coffee Addicted. And then I've left one on my table because I'm very special. I'll email you, don't worry. So I've only got those on there. I will be going and emailing everybody that's on there. I will try and find the card that I've dropped as I race to this position here. So next up is going to be the Holiday Ops video, which we'll replay again because I need to buy a little bit more time to be able to run the next bit of the giveaway in the chat.
That's close enough. Throw over the bag. It's all there. Let him go.
Santa, it's a trap.
I'm so sorry. I thought you were going to go the other way.
Hey, up there. Let's go again, and can we send the stunt double for this next one?
Can we have the stunt double over as soon as possible, please? Oh, do you think it's going to leave a bruise? Here, bro. Santa just got banged in the eye. The elf wants to bang the elf.
Stunt double on set. Stunt double on set.
Okay, where's my mark?
Just over there. Wait, what?
What?
You can't be Santa's stunt double.
Why not?
You don't think people will wonder why Santa keeps turning into a ripped Jason Statham?
Nah. They won't give a monkeys about that. They just want to see action. Right, who's getting a slap?
Well, I don't think we would necessarily do that.
2? What is this? Ballroom dancing? We're going to need at least 6. And with proper weapons. One has a pickaxe, the other a flamethrower. And I'm going to need a spoon.
A spoon?
Yeah, a spoon to take out the lights. Spoon, please. We front kick, pickaxe fella, through the window. Backflip towards Goldie over here. Uppercut, showering his teeth. Finish him off with a right hand to crush his sternum. Then we sneak up behind old flamethrower man here. We put him to sleep. Then, explosion 1, Meg.
Copy.
Who's Meg?
Fire in the hole!
We smash another 3 or 4 heads together. Explosion 2. Then, as they're distracted by the tank.
I'm sorry, a tank?
It's a Christmas movie. You're going to need one for the chase scene. Oh, is that tea? Lovely. Thank you very much.
But that is no chase scene.
Oh.
Jason?
I'm so sure about that.
Look, these are all great ideas.
Thank you.
But you just can't do them.
Listen, son, I'm a professional. script says gaze into the distance. I gaze. If it says parachute from a skyscraper holding a cat, I'm parachute. And if the script says fire off a load of bad guys and escape in a tank, I'm gonna fight.
But the script doesn't say any of that.
But what I mean is, it's just not that kind of movie.
Well, it is now. What's now on that barrel?
Kind of a second.
Oh, I'm Jason Statham. I've got my little cup of tea and lots of ideas. You thought about that? You thought about that? Oh, that's not good. The script says no, I'll do it. Oh, yeah, that's it, Jason.
End board. 1 take 4.
I think that might be a wrap.
Excellent news.
Solid work. You know what, Santa?
What's that?
I bloody love Christmas.
Okay, so I know we're about to wrap it up, but don't worry, the stream is not ending, especially for the Twitch viewers. I have just been pulling the winners onto a board. I'm going to make sure it goes over there, make sure it's propped up. Everybody can see them. Twitch will run for a while as we also make sure to give away those large boxes to everybody in chat. But before I get to that part and talk to all of you in the Twitch chat to make sure what's going on, I believe we have some final words from everybody here to just make sure we have a good sign-off.
Well, from the Tank Museum, I just wanted to thank all of our viewers today, but also all of our supporters and visitors from the last year. It will be great to see you next year. Please come to Tankfest, Tiger Day, or just come and see us any day that we're open. And of course, thank you very much to World of Tanks for their support. We really, really value it. So thank you both. And thank you for allowing us to put on Tankfest. Sorry, Tankmas.
Tankmas, thank
Tankfest
you.
is next.
And from me, again, thank you, a massive thank you to the Tank Museum staff, to Nick and all the staff down here who really pull out all the stops to host us. It is hard work, as you can appreciate. A lot of staff are involved in everything. A massive thank you to all of those behind the cameras as well, which obviously you can't see at the moment. They did an absolutely blinding job this evening. But most of all, of course, thank you to you all for watching. Thank you for your time, your support throughout the year. And from all of us, we just want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very peaceful New Year.
Thank you. And thank you to all the winners that are going to be on the board that I'm going to read out and make sure everybody knows that's going to be over there shortly.